Live from the Findlay Toyota studio, you're listening to ESPN Las Vegas.
All right, here we go on a Tuesday. Cofield and Company, ESPN Las Vegas. Exciting day. A day I think we mostly knew was coming. Well, one, it's official opening, like right now, of the tampering period in the NBA, which is the weirdest term ever. But there is a functionality to it, and we'll explain it. While lots of deals will be agreed upon, pen to paper officially can't happen for more than a few days, which will complicate things for the Lakers and the Lakers situation. Did it get more complicated today? I'm not sure, because I think this is the plan all along. But LeBron James told the Lakers, as the story goes, that he's out. He's going to be moving on. So we're going to get to that in 5 minutes. Alex White is here. James is here as well. It's Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas. We'll be tracking World Cup today. We'll get to a lot of the World Cup highlights and results with Ray Kluever from William Hill in the middle of the show. Yesterday was wild. But I wanted to start with baseball because I always appreciate the fact that people listen. And Alex was listening yesterday. Right? Without you, we don't survive. Thank you, Alex. But you sent over a note, and you're like, hey, your pick yesterday, your call on the A's and Dodgers, that one worked out. It didn't work out for the A's.
No, it didn't. And I was listening, and you and JVT were saying you thought it might be a tough spot for Gage Jump pitching in Sacramento, and first time seeing the Dodgers, and that they might get to him, and they did, in fact. So he went 4 2/3, gave up 11 hits, 5 earned runs, but very high-scoring game, and I think that's how tonight is going to go, too. So,
do you play baseball every day? You bet baseball every day?
Small, and, yeah, most days.
I mean, have the odds switched with the way the game is being played now? And what I mean by that is starting pitchers go for less and less amount of time in a game. I mean, to get a guy to go 7 innings is amazing. And that's not saying anything about the players today. I don't know. I saw something. We'll have to get to this another day, maybe later in the show. Jorge Posada, and for some reason, what's his face? Herbie from College Football World were like ranting about baseball today.
I saw that.
And I think it might have been you and I about 3 weeks ago. I was like, listen, the advances in baseball are cool. Starting pitching is not what it used to be. Organizations don't believe that starting pitchers should have to go 6 or 7 innings. Reality for those guys who are like, back in my day, which is hilarious because I think I'm at least 8 years older than Herbie and probably 12 years older than Jorge Posada. Now, Posada played the game, so I guess I have to respect his opinion. The game is more streamlined now because there's more pitching depth now than there ever was. I will virtually guarantee you, if you want to go back to whatever glory era you want to pick, the 30s, 50s, 70s, where starting pitchers used to throw 190 pitches in a game or throw 170, and you get all these complete games. You get Jim Palmer in his prime in the late 60s, early 70s, and he'd go out and twirl 27 complete games. It's not physically possible for, say, Jim Palmer, and this is not giving him strays, but it's not physically possible for Jim Palmer in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning to be as good as a guy who's coming in fresh, throwing 97 miles an hour up to 104. So there are some guys who can throw that hard. Mason Miller is a maniac. The game has been streamlined. It feeds from the world. All races and ethnicities are welcome. That wasn't always the case in baseball. So you can go to the bullpen, and batters are seeing different arm slots, angles, views, lefties, righties. And listen, even the best starting pitchers of all time, you don't have generally, maybe Nolan Ryan did, right? But somehow Nolan Ryan survived because his stuff was so awesome, in spite of the fact that he was walking guys left and right. Like when he was early in his career, I'm sorry, I'm going like in the Wayback Machine here, but like you look at the innings numbers were crazy. He'd throw 350 innings, but he would also walk 190 guys. I think there was multiple seasons he walked over 200 guys, but his stuff was so awesome. Like, that's a freak of nature. I don't know where I'm going here. My whole point is that, and I was asking you, has betting changed and the betting odds changed with the fact that starting pitching is not something that you handicap like you did even 5, 10, certainly 20 years ago, right?
You are correct. It is still a major percentage of the model and the equation that goes into it, but now I guess the bullpen is is a bigger portion on that. And of course, you're looking at offense and defense and all of that. So I think you make a good point, though, because I do think that makes it kind of fun. It's more of a chess match, right? Who's coming in next, and then who's closing out the game.
Makes in-game wagering very interesting.
Yes,
it also makes first five betting interesting. And I just thought yesterday, as much as I like Gage Jump, and I hope the guy's going to be a true, number 1 or 2, and he's gotten out of the gates, he was awesome, whatever it was, a 2.37 ERA before yesterday's game, you're setting an A's number against arguably the best team in baseball based on Gage Jump if he was starting in 1986. Like, Gage Jump is going to go 8 innings.
Yeah.
And that's assuming that he's going to be really effective against, again, arguably the best lineup he's faced all year. I just thought that number was ridiculous. It was minus 115 all day.
Yeah.
And by the way, the other part of this is the A's are not playing well. Like, they had a rough June. And what's most important, Gage Jump is going against probably the best lineup in baseball that he's faced. He cannot be expected to go beyond 6 innings in general. You're not going to handicap in the A's bullpen?
You have to handicap in the A's bullpen.
Right?
Yep.
Are there some teams off the top of your head you can think of where you look at the odds and you're like, whoa, that bullpen?
The Nationals.
Why is that?
They've been pretty rough. They're a great over team because, they have a great lineup, but they can definitely give up some runs as well. And I think their starting pitchers aren't that strong either, but then when it goes to the bullpen too.
Yeah.
So there's one, but
you have to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if you have a good starting pitcher on the mound, and there's only so many who can be relied upon to throw 110 pitches and maybe eke out past 7 innings, bullpen counts. And that number was just silly yesterday. So I got Dodgers at minus 120, and this wasn't about coming in and like patting myself on the back. I really don't bet baseball very often, but I do pick spots here and there where it's like, come on, we're only gonna lay 120 with the Dodgers. Yeah.
The other thing is that ballpark, right? And we've talked about it numerous times. It is a AAA ballpark. So it does favor the hitters. So Dodgers going into that, I do think Gage Jump will bounce back. He's had a great year far with them. It might have been a little nervous thing too, going up against the world champs. I don't know. But so now you asked about the rest of the series, and lefty versus lefty today. Jeffrey Springs going, but
let's break that one down in the middle of the show in our A spotlight. I just wanted to see if there was a number yet for Ohtani. Yeah, he's minus 192 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying Ohtani, shouldn't be priced much higher than yesterday. That's absolutely a guarantee. He's going to be, 1, he's a name. 2, his pitching has been good. Although, you know what? His recent performance, good, not great. I'm not recommending an A's play tomorrow. But I don't know if Ohtani's going to just freaking blow through the A's with the way he's been pitching lately.
Well, we'll see. You're right. His last 3 starts weren't quite as good as, he was basically unhittable.
For the longest time, what was it, through like 9 starts, his ERA was below 1.
Yeah. And then gave up 3 against the Pirates, 4 against Tampa Bay, and then 2 against the Twins. So,
and started leaking oil in a couple of those spots around the 5th or 6th, too.
Yep.
That's funny. His season, I forget, people write we get these hot shots, and we do it from time to time. You're coming up with something in that moment that over the long haul is probably a stupid take, but, you throw something out. And I know it was about 2 weeks ago someone was talking about Ohtani's hitting was, really failing. Much better pitcher than hitter. And now look what he's done the last 2 weeks hitting. Now so they're human beings. They go through, there's an ebb and flow to the Major League Baseball season. So a lot more coming up on the A's and a lot more baseball. So LeBron apparently told the Lakers today, we had reports for the last couple of days that the Lakers had not reached out to LeBron. Other reports said, hey, LeBron was ignoring them and playing golf all the time. Whatever it is. Frankly, this is your classic breakup. And right now, I think it's being put forth and being presented as both sides wanted to go their separate ways. There is a way of breaking up, though, where you both feel kind of good about it, right? I think LeBron was open to a return to the Lakers. I think the Lakers were done. So my guess here is the Lakers said, you know what? We'll be the bad guy. We're not going to talk to him. Someone will eventually leak that we're not talking to him. And then LeBron can control the narrative and say, you know what? I broke up. I walked away. Is that what it feels like? Until we get some dirt, which I'm sure we're going to have about a 3-day moratorium on the dirt, and then, someone's going to speak, Lakers side or Rich Paul side. I
could definitely see that, but I could also see the other side where LeBron was not happy there either. I mean, since they got Luka, he kind of knew that transition was happening, right? And maybe it was one of those scenarios where I'm not going to stay where I'm not wanted. I'm LeBron James, right? I can go to any other team, really. So I don't know if that is guaranteed that he did want them to keep him there. Can you believe it? I still can't believe it's been 8 years.
I know, it flew by. It flew by. And every year was interesting.
Yeah.
He made the Lakers very relevant. Let's give 2 scenarios here on LeBron leaving the Lakers. You just hinted at one of them. It's Luka's team now. So is LeBron an egomaniac and not realistic? Like, bro, this ain't your team. You can't be the star. You're not going to get treated with superstar treatment. Grow up, wake up, put your ego in check. Or did LeBron look at it and go, you know what, even with Luka here and Reeves here, we ain't winning. And I want to win. What do you think it is? Do you think LeBron's ego, he couldn't back it down? I have to be the star of the freaking team? Or is he in reality now where he's like, this ain't gonna work? And the other part of it, not to be harsh, but Luka is a great player. Can he make it through the whole season and be healthy for the playoffs with his sometimes dedication to fitness?
Completely speculating because I have absolutely no idea.
I'm guessing too.
But it's just a lot of people are talking about teams where he should go, and I hear like San Antonio, they could win now and this and that. I don't does he want to go to win another
That's the
ring?
question.
I don't know. I don't think he would. I don't want to use the word and say he's got a big ego in that whole scenario, but more leaning that way in a sense of wants to ride off in the sunset. And
I think that kind of frames his decision, though. Is he unrealistic and he wants to be the star of a team, and he got pissed at the Lakers because Luka became the star of the team and he felt disrespected? Or did he actually do an accurate appraisal of what the situation is, and he's like, I got to move on? The news was broken today, this morning, I don't know, around 10:30. Shams, the insider for ESPN, popped on SportsCenter.
Rich Paul, his agent, informed Rob Pelinka, the Lakers' president of basketball operations, that the Lakers can move on with their offseason because LeBron James is moving on with them. He is leaving after 8 years. He led them to a 2020 NBA championship. And so LeBron James had to first sift through whether he wanted to play another year, and all indications were he was going to do that. So a record unprecedented 24th NBA season awaits LeBron James at the very least.
Amazing. 24 seasons, was still playing at a top 20 level last year. When it came to the playoffs, he couldn't lead the Lakers by himself to a second-round playoff victory, but he did get him through one round of the playoffs, which is still incredible. I still think he's a great player. His addition to just about any roster boosts your chances at a championship. We'll go down the whole list. I'm going to go down the odds list of where he's going to land because I think these are absurd, and I want to bet the no. But these places won't take the no, and then I'll give you my list of where LeBron should go. That's coming up during the show. Let's set this up in one more direction, because Shams talks about, moves towards answering Alex's question. Like, what's the motivation here? What was LeBron thinking? What were the Lakers thinking?
Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, we know they're both on max contracts, and their organization had decisions to make. And so before it can get to a point where the Lakers had to take time and wait, LeBron James made the decision for them. Now both sides can move on with their offseason. And so why? I'm told this is a happiness-led decision for LeBron James. He feels like he needs to find his happiness elsewhere.
All right, this is a happiness-led decision, whatever that means. You get it. He's looking for happiness. He was not happy at the end in L.A. We'll continue to build on this because we've both got our ideas on where he could go, where he should go, and the betting odds are out in faraway places. We don't take those bets here, but keep saying Vegas is taking the bets. We'll take the brand recognition. Smash Mouth is in town on the 4th of July at the Sahara at the pool. You can get your tickets at Ticketmaster.com. 4th of July, Smash Mouth at the pool. That's a really good venue, not super big. The sound is great in there. Smash Mouth at the Sahara. We got a pair of tickets right now. 364-1100, 364-1100, caller 7.
Now back to Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas.
What a day of sports talk. I'm getting fired up. We got a lot of good stuff to get to. So if you missed it this morning around 10:30, official LeBron James informs the Lakers he's going to be moving on 8 years in L.A. with the Lakers. What's a good word to describe it? Is successful too much? Because I think a lot of Lakers fans would not use the word successful because their demands are so high. Their expectations are so high.
I think successful is a good word. Like you said, they were pretty irrelevant for how many years before he got there. So he definitely helped get him to the spot again. And a title.
Raj Markazi from the Sporting Tribune, who's a regular here on Cofield and Company on Wednesdays, said when the Lakers signed LeBron James in 2018, no one expected him to be in L.A. for 8 years. They were one of the worst teams in the league over the previous 5 seasons. Over the next 5 seasons, they won a championship and played in 2 conference finals. Hell of a run. I agree. But I'm a LeBron fan. I don't look for negative angles on LeBron. There are going to be negative angles. I saw Skipper Bayless was that's been like one of his top 10 talking points that he always will go back to. Old reliable, just bang on LeBron James. That's the other thing. In the sports media and for sports fans, LeBron James, love him or hate him, has given you something to talk about now for nearly 25 years.
100%.
That's an amazing run. And that's how good he is. That's how high the expectations were for him. That's how much people love him. That's how much people are driven nuts by him. I don't think people... Actually, you know what? I'll say this. His bouncing around from team to team and that decision, I think, has changed sports from this standpoint. I think more fans are accepting of the fact that athletes will bounce around. And if you're not, then dare I say it, you may be an unhappy person who was stuck in your job for 20-plus years and you didn't have the guts to move around. Because I think moving around from job to job for for Gen Xers, we're pansies. It's pathetic. Most of us stick with a job that we don't like. I love my job. They let me do anything I want here. But there are a lot of people in my age group who worked or still work for way too long.
Right.
For one company, your age group, and then you're a millennial, right?
Yeah.
And then Gen Z? Holy crap. I love the standard they live by, which is there is no loyalty from the employer side. Why do I need to be loyal? Can I get a better situation every year? Okay, then I'm moving on. What?
Yeah.
I hate that. Kids these days. Yeah, you're jealous.
Yeah.
And LeBron, that move of LeBron bouncing around drove people nuts. So here's the question with LeBron. What's the most important thing? Shams suggested, hey, it's being happy. Is being happy going for a ring? That would make me happy, especially if I'm LeBron, I'm at this stage of my career. So I would go ring chasing. I would do what Charles Barkley did, right? And Barkley can lie all he wants now and try to reinvent the narrative. He chased rings. He forced his way out of 76er land to go to Phoenix. That wasn't working. He went to the Rockets. He was a ring chaser. You know who else chased rings? Dr. J. And Dr. J about 10 years ago was like, well, back in my day. Yeah, back in your day, you added Moses Malone, the best center in basketball, along with Kareem. You had a big three. So this has been done forever in the NBA. Old rant. Had to get that out. Okay, so the obvious choice for a lot of people is going to be to run with the story that has developed the last day and a half. Wait, Dr. Dre, Draymond Green opted out of his deal for $28 million. Something's got to be in the works, Alex. He's going to Golden State, and AD's coming along with him. LeBron, AD, Draymond Green, and Steph.
I mean, yeah, that is what most people are jumping on, and we'll go through the odds there, and there's one that actually has it odds-on favorite. So I could definitely see it. I mean, after they played together with Steve Kerr coaching, what was that, 2024 U.S. men's basketball team, it kind of seemed like they wanted to play a year together, so I could see that. Plus, I don't think there would be a star battle there. And I don't know, do you think they could win with that roster now? Now, I should mention, because you found the note that AD is a no, right? That doesn't look like that's going to happen.
It's not AD as a no. It's we put together these pie-in-the-sky situations. You know, when big threes are formed, you have to get either cooperation from other organizations. Like if you think back, again, to go in the Wayback Machine, I wouldn't call it ring chasing because guys didn't know how good they were going to be. But the Celtics formed a big three, but a lot of the formation was because there were owners who sucked in the NBA in the late 70s and GMs who were even dumber. And you were able to put together Larry Bird with McHale with Parrish because of awful draft trades. The Chris Bosh, Wade, LeBron thing happened because there was some cooperation from other organizations. The Wiz don't have to just capitulate and go, oh, you want AD?
Right.
Like, there's got to be a benefit for them. And for the Warriors, their trade chip for AD is Jimmy Butler, who's hurt and old. Now, maybe the Wizards have some grand plan and all they want is a placeholder. But the Wizards don't have to cooperate.
Sure.
Now, you asked me another question. I'm going to bounce it right back on you. You put out a lineup here. Porzingis, Anthony Davis, Draymond Green, LeBron James playing two guard, Steph at the point. And you asked 2 minutes ago, would that team win?
Now you're going to throw it to me.
Oh, would it? Okay, let me say this. I'll just make up odds. Western Conference. Golden State with Porzingis, Davis, Draymond Green, James, and Curry. They're 4-1. OKC is plus 250. The Spurs are 3-1. T-Wolves are 7-1. Are you betting Golden State at 4-1 to win the West?
Probably not.
I don't even know with that lineup if Golden State is a top 5 team in the West. Now, do I want to see this story unfold and play out? Yeah! It's freaking awesome. It'd be tremendous.
Yeah.
But they'd have some other work to do, and LeBron can't play two guard.
An old roster, yeah.
That's not a good defensive team, although you have two all-time defenders in AD and Draymond Green. One of them, though, and actually Draymond Green has problems too. Can you get Anthony Davis to get beyond 50 games in the regular season? That's an old team.
That's the big question. Really.
It's fun, though.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Well, I mean, and it was looking like Steve Kerr was going to retire, and now he just...
Well, maybe Draymond
right?
Green and the option on the contract going back 3 weeks to Steve Kerr. Maybe there's been a grand plan here. Maybe there was previous conversation. There was tampering before the tampering.
Yeah.
I mean, who would stop him?
I got to imagine that he stays in California. I'm not buying that he's going back to Cleveland.
Okay. I hadn't thought of that one. Hey, he's in L.A. He's got a lot of other projects. LeBron wants to be Golden State bound. Not pun intended.
Maybe Clippers? Buying any of the Clippers? Staying right there?
I don't think the Clippers are looking to launch into a competitive mode this season. They clearly are rebuilding. We'll get to the Kawhi Leonard trade as he was moved today to Toronto. All right, on the way back, I'm going to get you the odds, and we'll grade these odds. GSW is a good story, but unless we get an update that, hey, there's going to be some cooperation to get Anthony Davis to Golden State, I think that's a long shot, but books right now are taking that bet as the favorite.
Now back to Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas.
All right, a lot more on LeBron James leaving the Lakers throughout the show. 5:30, we'll talk to one of our L.A. insiders, Grant Mona, on both the Lakers and the Clippers, because the Clippers had a very busy day today. We'll deep dive on Kawhi Leonard being moved, and can he play right away? Is he going to get suspended? There's a whole thing with him with a circumvention of the salary cap, and that thing's wild. So we'll have more details on that one. We were just talking about where LeBron could land. We've barely gotten into it. I saw a graphic put out by Dave McMenamin, who's like BBW, Big Brian Windhorst, is a LeBron insider. And the graphic sent out basically had everyone in the NBA on the list as a candidate, which 18 teams should call. I don't think everyone in the NBA should call because there's a lot of rebuilding franchises and ones that are so bad the next season or two that's LeBron's not going to go there even if they could max out money. I don't think it's about money. Let's address the Golden State thing and maybe put it to bed here. I don't think they're going to get cooperation from the Wizards on Anthony Davis being moved for nothing as basically a salary swap. I don't know why the Wiz would do that, but maybe. One, let me address this. Our buddy over on Raider Nation Radio 920, JT the Brick, I just said to you, I don't even know if that LeBron, Anthony Davis, Draymond Green, Steph team with Porzingis would be top 5 in the West. JT's response this morning is if a third team facilitates a deal that helps LeBron James and Anthony Davis get to the Warriors, that franchise should be investigated. This is a league of player entitlement. Why are we mad? One, it's a fun story. They're not a threat. Why would anyone be investigated? They're not a threat to win the West. They're not going to win the West.
Yeah, how many years
not going to
back
happen.
would this have to be for that to be like...
Right. Like you're just seeing names, and they're almost all of them not durable. 4 of the 5 are 30... Well, 3 of the 5 are 33 plus. What's Anthony Davis? 31, but he's like 31 going on 39. But I mixed up some book names there. Bovada, which I called Bodog in our notes. I don't know where I got that. LeBron odds offshore. We don't take these bets in Vegas for good reason. You can't really regulate the market. Minus 225 to the Warriors. Please let me bet the no.
No.
At a plus number.
Right.
You think they'll take that money? Just say it. No.
No.
Bet online, I was sent this one. Warriors, LeBron James, next team. Minus 1,000.
Wow.
Please let me take the no on that one.
Wow.
That's not going to happen. Ridiculous.
You could.
And I'm guessing the limits are like $50. And there is not a no bet available.
You'd have to look on Polymarket or Kalshi.
Ooh, let's look it up. Or let's
Try
look
and
at
find
we'll look at some of the traditional books that have started doing the prediction market stuff.
Okay.
And see what they have. Yeah, that'll be really interesting.
So
All
you're saying Golden State has to be a package deal. If AD's not going, he's not going. That's kind of
Mark Stein, who's really good on the NBA, said that's not necessarily the case.
okay.
But if he wants to have fun, I guess Golden State will qualify. But without Anthony Davis, unless they have something else in the works, he can't. Well, we'll examine this. If you want to go win a ring, I got some easy choices. You can go, if you're willing to take less money, there's a bunch of squads that you can go to and win a ring. But that's coming up on Cofield and Company. Up next, though, let's get into some MMA fighting, a little bit of Raiders as RJ Clifford is on the way.
It's Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas.
Oh, boy. These breaks are a learning experience. I just found out I may have walked myself into a serious medical situation. I'm not going to make it through the show. That's coming up at 4 o'clock, so that's a good tease. RJ Clifford is in. We've got more important things to talk about than my mortality. RJ, of course, former fighter, former college wrestler. He's very muscular. He just went to one of the old Soviet republics. I need some information. What's up, RJ?
What's going on, Cofield? Yeah, you're. I'm getting buffered by your compliment, and you're, I guess, dying on the other end. I hope everything's okay.
Yeah, it's coming up at 4 o'clock, so just everyone stick around as to what I did and why I'm done. I live vicariously through your travels, and it's funny. Last night I was watching there's a dude who goes all around China, some like 28-year-old redhead dude, and he's just so excited in China. I'm like, I'm moving to China. He did a whole thing on Macau. I got to run it by you in the future, but your international travels brought you. You were in Baku, right?
Baku, Azerbaijan. My wife still can't pronounce it.
Where is that? What is that? UFC was there. Like, what kind of city is it? Is it somewhat modern? Are you allowed to go out? Can you drink? Can you party? What's the deal?
So it's Middle East, but Middle East adjacent. It's part of the Commonwealth of Independent States when the Soviet Union disbanded. And because it's kind of Middle East, the UFC actually went there for the first time last year. So this is my second time in Baku. And when you think, okay, we're going to Azerbaijan, you thinking, Riyadh, Abu, there's only so much you can do out there. Baku is awesome. Baku is great. So it's right in the Black Sea. The weather's fantastic. Because it had like heavy Russian influence, but like a Muslim history. There's a lot of Eastern European influence there. The architecture is beautiful. Yeah, you could go out and you can drink. There's gambling. There's all the modern amenities you'd expect from a city that's trying to attract tourists. So and they love their UFC there. I mean, fans are trying to take pictures with like security dudes and audio guys and just like anyone who is UFC adjacent. They were all about. So I feel like the UFC is going to be going there annually.
Were they like, hey, we got to take a picture with the white who's always got this sunburn look as a beard on his face?
I think I wouldn't blend in there with this look, but I was able to pull it off. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not ripping any culture or religion. Can you see the ladies' faces?
Yes.
Okay.
So there are stricter, Muslim women there that have the full gown, but there are beautiful women in Azerbaijan, and there are, how can I put this delicately, women there that would be happy to give you company for a price, and it's out there, and it's obvious. It's not even like they hide it. So it's very, I don't know if progressive is the right word, but it's not unlike Vegas in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I think a red light district is the word to describe it is progressive.
Yes.
Okay. There was a great calm down, everybody. There was a great submission on the card. I don't know what this stretch is, and it looked really painful for this guy, Charles Johnson.
Yeah, it's called a Suliev stretch, and it's named after Suliev, who kind of popularized it. And so basically, if you know mixed martial arts, it's kind of like a knee bar, but instead of isolating the leg between one of your legs, you have, this is really fun to do verbally, both your hooks in, and then you bend over, grab one of their heels, and you stretch it. So you're kind of splitting their groin in half whilst extending their leg in the wrong direction like a reverse boomerang. And it's equal parts painful and embarrassing to get caught in.
Who pulled that off? Who was the winner?
That was Asu Almabayev, really good flyweight.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's moving along at 125, right?
Yeah, he's going to be a real problem. He had some cardio issues in the past, but he's on a win streak right now. Still only 32 years old, although it feels like he's been around for a really long time. 24-3, 3-fight win streak. So he's going to find himself in contention here probably in early 2027. He keeps winning.
Alex White, RJ Clifford, Cofield on ESPN Las Vegas. Alex, you wanted to ask about the rankings?
Well, yeah, RJ, so Steve asked you last week about the new meta rankings, and you were posting that you're kind of keeping up on one thing in particular. What is that, and then what do you think about the rankings so far?
So one thing I'm hoping for these rankings, and this is all kind of just optimism, we'll see how it pans out, but there's some things I'm hoping for. And one of the biggest pet peeves of mine for, like, let's say the college football ranking is you have the preseason ranking come out, and then it's all kind of based off of that.
Right.
So if someone is ranked number 4 and they just happen to beat the Powder Puffs, but no one believes they're good, they kind of keep their ranking for a while. This new system kind of blows that out of the water. It's constantly being recycled. If you're number 5, and what we see happen a lot of times with fighters, we saw it with Colby Covington and a lot of these older fighters, they'll get a high ranking and they'll just refuse to fight anyone below them, and they just kind of hoard that ranking. With this new system, and we've seen it happen, fighters, if you're active and winning and doing well, you'll pass these guys up. It's not I have to be beaten to have my ranking take away. I can have my ranking taken away because I'm just not being active. So that's what I'm hoping is going to happen, because we've already kind of seen it happen already in the first 2 weeks of the rankings.
During the Anik and Florian podcast, you mentioned Pat Sabatini.
Yeah, so Pat Sabatini went from unranked to 7th, and he's won 5 of his last 6. He's beaten some pretty decent competition, but not any top 10 level competition. So he's, in a weird way, kind of an outlier to kind of show. I think the best example of what I just said, that if you just keep winning and stay active, and the guys above you aren't quite as active, you can pass them up. You can take their opportunities and keep these guys from hoarding their rankings. So that was the biggest kind of eyebrow raiser from the MMA world, is Pat Sabatini, top 10. Didn't think I'd see the day.
Talking some MMA with RJ Clifford right here on Cofield and Company, ESPN Las Vegas. UFC is here on July 12th in the big building as Conor McGregor's on the top of the card, but it's a very interesting card. First of all, Robert Whittaker is going to be fighting at light heavyweight. Why is he doing that? I understand sometimes you get frustrated in a division. Can he excel? Because he is a short 205er.
He is. He wasn't a big middleweight at 185, and now he's going up to 205. He's kind of... It's kind of a where do you go at this point in my career, because he's lost to the champion. He's lost to Israel Adesanya, who's up there. It's just like that. He would just be kind of spinning his wheels at 185. And in combat sports, to really make the big money, you need to be in championship contention and win that belt. And so I think he was looking at 205 and thought to himself, this is one of the weaker men's weight classes in the UFC. Robert Whittaker is automatically one of the best wrestlers in the weight class, despite being, maybe 20 pounds underweight. The appeal of getting up into your mid-30s, not having to cut weight anymore, I'm sure is a big factor. And oftentimes, so many fighters, they think of like, look, I need a reset in my career, and a change of weight class is kind of the slap a Band-Aid on it way to do it.
In the heavyweight division, I'm all about the new blood. The division is filled with a lot of older guys, and I've been waiting for these American wrestlers, and there is no one better, more entertaining, more dominant at the collegiate level than Gable Steveson, so he's making his debut.
Yeah, 26-year-old Gable Steveson. He's undefeated. It was just a matter of time before he made it in the UFC. Won his first 3 fights, just all first-round demolishes over match competition. But he's an Olympic gold medalist, NCAA wrestling champion. He had a cup of coffee with the Buffalo Bills on their practice squad. Tried to go the WWE route. He basically went exactly the Brock Lesnar route. Wrestled at Minnesota, kind of sort of played football, did WWE for a while, and now he's going to try mixed martial arts. So, like you said, Steve, really high-level athletic wrestlers coming into the least athletic division in mixed martial arts, the heavyweight division, is automatically getting people excited. So obviously we've seen really good wrestlers fail in mixed martial arts, and we've seen decent wrestlers become the best fighters in MMA history. So about as blue chip of a prospect as you can get, Gable Steveson.
These are odd spots sometimes, though, when a guy's making his debut and moving up the ladder as he's getting experience. Upsets can happen. I'm nervous, though, in backing Ellison. When someone's nickname is the Snack Panther at heavyweight, what do we know about him? Can someone do a feature on the nickname and where it came from?
Yeah, that needs someone needs to do some real big J journalism right there. That's his Snack Panther. Snack Panther's his nickname, wow. And Alicia is his first name.
Yeah.
So you either got to. So you basically have to be a heavyweight cage fighter if that's going to be your name. You're going to grow up with the name Alicia. You got to learn to kick butt.
You can get, believe it or not, or really believe it, you can get 13-1 on Ellison. I'm not going to say Alicia because I think it might be Alicia, but you would know better than I would because you do the research for this stuff.
I have a rule in betting mixed martial arts. If anyone is over a 7-1 underdog, I always sprinkle something on it because it's mixed martial arts. Anything can happen. There's so many ways to lose. Gable Stevenson's dog could die the day before. He'll mentally not be there. He could have an injury no one knows about, or he could maybe just not be that good. He's got like 3.5 minutes of total professional MMA experience. So, and what's a more fun way to spend $25 than rooting for a 13-1 dog?
Well, when this video's out, hopefully the Snack Panther will threaten you and challenge you to a fight. That happened last week. I don't know if you saw this, but former Major League Baseball player Aubrey Huff got very angry at a Jason Page, who's a local media guy, because Jason Page was calling Aubrey Huff a moron for his take on the Pride Night controversy with the San Francisco Giants. And Huff said, you know what, let me tell you, I'll DM you my address, come down here, and you will say that to my face. Let's see how that goes. And I was thinking of how many people on this show could fight Aubrey Huff. Because first of all, I think he needs size just to square up to him, because he's like 6'4", 240. But the first guy I thought of was like, well, RJ fought. RJ, what do you weigh now? Because you fought at what, 170?
Yeah, 155 and 170. I'm about 190 now.
Okay.
So still up there.
Well, in a bar fight, street fight situation with your combat background, what's your tact? What's your approach on someone who's, say, 6'4", 240?
So there are 35 rules in mixed martial arts, in the unified rules of mixed martial arts. There's only 35 rules. What I would do is look at those 35 rules that you're not allowed to do and do them. right? The eye gouge, the groin kick, eye poke, biting. That's the best advice I can give people in a bar fight of life or death.
Right.
But I mean, look, if you want to have like an honorable fisticuffs, I'm telling you, man, elbows, hands break, knuckles break, those little metacarpals in your hands, they're made like, evolution designed them to like pick berries and climb trees, not to be a clubbing weapon. That elbow, oh my God, that bone, that'll cause so much damage. You won't hurt your hands. You won't be in a cast after. Throw elbows. Best advice I can give.
You wrestled in college. What would be your takedown on someone who's bigger than you?
You go body lock, inside leg trip. And that throws people off, right? Because if you're doing like a double leg or single leg, the natural body element, like your human nature will be to push the head and sprawl like you've kind of got it. But if you go inside leg trip, that's just my bread and butter. Bread and butter.
Weren't you just talking about the inside leg trip as someone sort of made that their bread and butter?
So Henry Cejudo,
Yeah.
that was a big move of his when he was fighting the UFC, when he was wrestling as well, and also Amabayev, who we're just talking about, executed kind of like a variation of the inside leg trip. He was able to chain wrestle off of it, so that's what inspired me to do it. And I just love the move so much. At least quarterly, I'm breaking down that move to the masses.
The funny thing with RJ is, and he doesn't remember this because I think he was pretty sauced up, and that's why he did it. I was in a New York bar with you, and I tell this story every once in a while, and you're like, I don't remember doing that. You and a guy named Greg Savage, and Greg's a big guy. He's pretty fat, but he's big. He's probably 6'2", and he was over 300 pounds. And I remember you two just kind of horsing around, and I'm like, what is going on here? It was like two bulls locking up. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to. As RJ looks smaller, but I do not want to lock up against you.
And you caught me on a light day, Cofield. Normally it's the that grappling gets more aggressive. But that's how wrestlers say hi. You know what I mean? That's like you get like a 2-on-1 grip. It's like a handshake for us. It's like, oh, I haven't seen you in a while. Let's get in an over-under position. See who falls over, right? See if we can break a bar stool. But as long as you're laughing, as long as you're like, as long as it looks like you're having a good time, people know what's up.
Look at those guys. Well, I don't know where Huff lives. I don't know if he'll DM you and ask for your address, but I think he's in Newport Beach. That's pretty close to Long Beach, so maybe we can set up a grapple fest, or you can say it to his face. But you're not involved in the argument.
I'll train Jason Page.
I should not. Well, I don't know if that's going to help, but I shouldn't be setting you up to fight for Cofield and Company or Jason Page or anyone else. I just always find these threats like, okay, let's see what happens if someone takes you up on that. Okay, very important in the last minute here. Dana White made some comments in reaction to a question about Floyd Mayweather and his money problems, and he said, I'd like to talk to him. Maybe there's something we can do for him. I find this really fascinating. I think Dana White can be a good guy, can be altruistic, but the way I look at it is, man, you could be buying real low here if you want to get Floyd into Zuffa boxing. Got about 40 seconds.
It checks both of Dana White's boxes. Like anyone who lives in Vegas or has covered mixed martial arts for a while, obviously fighter pay gave Dana White this reputation as being cheap, but he has been very generous on individual instances with people who need it. But two, he's a promoter first. To your point, if you can get pennies on the dollar on Floyd Mayweather to have him do something, anything, whatever, you take it. Dana's no dummy, so it scratches two itches.
Right. Hey, Floyd, you used to make $175 million a fight. How about, you slum it for $60 million, and we get you under the Zuffa banner. That would be a win-win.
Beggars can't be choosers, man. And that's what Floyd deserves for how he handled his money.
Wait a second now. I don't want to get into this again, but I went round and round yesterday with Steve Kim, and I'm like, take it easy on Floyd. I'm one of the few sympathetic people with Floyd's situation, but something we can tackle down the road. RJ, good job, man. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
God, I love the international travel stuff. Azerbaijan. I'm pretty confident I'm never going to Baku, but I could live through him.
It's Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas and ESPN Reno.
All right, here we go. 4 o'clock hour. Alex White is here. I don't even know how to intro you anymore because you're not doing South Point Studios right now. So just world champion handicapper?
Sure.
Last one man standing multiple times.
There we go.
Sports expert, betting expert. Alex White is here. James is here. Findlay Toyota Studios. It's Cofield. We're on in Reno, ESPN Reno, and ESPN Las Vegas. This hour every day is brought to you by Battleborn Injury Lawyers. Call from anywhere in the state of Nevada to 766-1400. I apologize. We do a very well-organized rundown, but it's in disarray right now. We had to switch things around. It's a wild day today. LeBron James is not going to be with the Lakers. Notice I didn't slip and say not going to be in L.A. I don't know where he's going to be. I don't think he's going to be with the Clippers because the Clippers kind of mailed everything in and they're in full rebuild mode. We'll get to the Kawhi Leonard trade. But yeah, LeBron is looking elsewhere. How many teams will step up? What does he want? Is it about money? Is it about winning? I got some great choices if you want to go win some rings, and they would produce tremendous storylines with LeBron James. But it's Big Four time.
Battleborn Injury Lawyers presents the Big Four at 4. Number 4.
Okay, we are seconds away from the tip of the Commissioner's Cup with the Libs, the Liberty, in New York, and the Aces. But what a bummer. Not all the stars are present.
It is a bummer. I'm pretty disappointed. Asia Wilson will not be playing. It was actually just released today that she was out. So this was a rematch from 2023 Commissioner Cup where the Aces actually got to host the Liberty here. New York won that one, and pretty good, 82-63. So I was excited about the rematch here, but without Asia Wilson, I think it's going to be a tough challenge for them. What do you think?
Would you take the 6.5?
Take the points with the Aces?
No?
Or you mean lay it with the Liberty? I would honestly probably be on New York's side because technically Asia's worth like 5.5 to the line, but I mean, is that it? How much is she really worth to that team? It's pretty.
I also wish if I knew Kennedy Carter was going to play and was, at full speed and could play 27 minutes, then I think they just play a different type of game and they can compete, but that's the problem right now.
Yeah. Did play the last game.
Okay.
But I don't know what minutes and everything, so I'll have to take a look at that.
Does the WNBA's last-minute notice on a lot of these injuries, I find this league very weird, and I don't know why they can't just streamline at least this part, the information part. How do you approach the league? Are you hesitant to ever bet the night before?
Yeah.
Because of reasons like this? Like, we have a major game coming up, and then we find out this morning that the best player in the league is not playing. Like, wait, what?
And I feel like unless it is a kind of a long term, like we just heard Kelsey Plum's would be longer, right? Then it does happen often the day of the game. So, very interesting. There's a lot going on with this league that they need to fix, but that's one of them.
It's not priority number one because they have so many other things going on.
I agree.
But I will tell you it's important because if you want to be in denial, you can be in denial. But growing sports need sports gambling.
Absolutely. There's a ton of people who do watch the WNBA because they are following it to bet on it nightly, daily. So I agree.
If you look back at the history, we were just talking mixed martial arts with RJ Clifford, who fought in the past, was a 15-year-plus MMA host for SiriusXM. If you talk to people who covered MMA back in the day, and I did, it was a really big deal when sportsbooks kind of legitimized UFC by putting it on the board. And I know one of the sites that actually first started putting out numbers was Vegas Insider, way back, probably 2002, 2003, might have been before that. And that, like, for the people at the UFC realized they're like, okay, or like, this means we're legit if they're willing to book bets.
I wish we could see the growth of the sport since then. We probably could very easily, but like go back and look because it did feel like it kind of blew up, right, out of nowhere. And to RJ's point when he said, hey, it's okay if it's a 7-1 or higher dog and put a little bit on it, sprinkle a little bit. There's a ton of people that thought that way, right, and wanted to be involved and then started watching it and then started to actually, hey, I actually like this sport. It's very entertaining.
I think that's been in the recent history of WNBA. If you go back about 4 or 5 years as it was starting to blow up, there were a lot of professional gamblers who were like, we're ahead of the books.
Yeah.
Some of the bookmakers on the sport. Not so much anymore, but again, if the league wants to keep their injury secret and wait until the last minute, didn't we already have a situation with Caitlin Clark?
Yes, did.
Like a big one? I'm not mad at Asia Wilson. I'm sure it's a legit injury, but it's just the flow of information. And listen, coaches want a competitive advantage, so I guess, I don't know. Well, I guess the Liberty will be all thrown off tonight. Now they can't game plan on 14 hours notice instead of 28 hours notice. All right, number 3.
Number 3.
There's something weird happening with Alyssa Thomas. The other side of the whole Caitlin Clark thing, the fist to the neck, which I'll ask you. What did you think of the action, first of all? It was described as an assault, and he punched to the throat.
I don't know about assault, but I do think it was deliberate. I do think there should have been a flagrant called in the moment and not the suspension later on. So I do think that was on the refs in game.
Okay. Flagrant 2, 1-game suspension. Proper? Or should it have been more?
No, I think that's proper.
Caitlin Clark people don't think it's proper. I'm not saying Team Clark, I mean her fans. A lot of her fans.
Well, I think they're still just mad that it wasn't called initially. So they're trying to make it an example, I guess, or think that it should be made an example. But so what's happening on the other side?
Well, here's the other side. Christine Brennan, who's covered sports forever and covers women's sports, said she reached out to the Players Association exec director, Terry Jackson. She asked, is it punishable to put your fist in another player's throat, or is it not? The Players Union spokesman said, quote, WNBAPA respectfully declines comment. What? What are we doing here? Now, players' associations are in tricky positions because they are repping all players.
Right.
But player-on-player crime is disciplined all the time. I don't remember hearing a statement like this from the Players Association. It's weird.
Yeah.
And now we find out, I saw a video off Availability with Phoenix about 2 hours ago. Alyssa Thomas is pissed off because Kathy Engelbert hasn't commented on the situation, and her side of it is, I'm getting death threats.
Which you got to imagine is probably true.
It probably is.
Because of, I mean, Caitlin Clark does have a very strong, big following that is pretty passionate about how they feel and how they feel that she's treated in the league. So I'm sure that is true too. Haven't we talked about this league being a little too sensitive and before?
Which part?
Well, I mean, the fact that you're saying player on player and they should be able to handle this and comment. I mean, if it were hockey, it would just be, here's your punishment, move on. And, you know, it is what it is. You did it. Like,
I think what I'm constantly blown away by with the WNBA is it doesn't feel like there's ever a meeting to strategize. Like, hey, this is important. What we say is going to have ramifications. How do we present this? Who agreed that when USA Today calls up and Christine Brennan, one of the most prominent people covering the WNBA, who strategized that the statement on Alyssa Thomas being disciplined is, we're going to withhold comment? Do you realize what that does? Give me the job! Someone's making money doing this.
true.
And I'm not necessarily a trained PR person, but Jesus, being in the media, at least I've been around it. Like, I know better than, my God, if we put out a statement like this, we may as well just literally throw freaking lighter fluid all over the situation. And worst of all, on Alyssa Thomas. If she's getting death threats, do you think not making a comment on player crime is going to help her? But you can see what's happening here. They're in this weird position. They don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Okay, if I didn't know what to do and I was in PR for the Players Association, I don't know, I'll ask you. If you're PR for the Players Association, what's your next step? You're like, man, how do we handle this? What do you do? I might lean on experts. I don't know. I might call the NFLPA. I might call the MLBPA. I might call our sister brother league,
Yeah.
the Players Association in the NBA. You know, maybe I missed it. Maybe there was a case where Draymond Green, you know, I don't know, time 11, 21, 39. Let's go back to the Rudy Gobert image being pulled down the floor and it's so cold by Draymond Green. You think the Players Association is like, we really can't take a stance on this one? You can't?
Solid point.
I don't get it. And then it's important, every time you speak about the WNBA, you have to roll in the other leagues. Because now that Kathy Engelbert set this precedent where she's like, well, you don't ask the men's leagues, about these topics? Yeah, we do! Yes! Yes, if they acted weird, we would ask. We're just covering sports. Why are you guys weird? Yeah, we'll build on this one because we got to get some follow-up on Alyssa Thomas. Because here's the other problem. Her being disciplined is it's connected, but is a separate story from her getting death threats in terms of the way you handle each one. The death threats are lunatics and losers, and my guess is mostly pansies who aren't going to do a damn thing. That doesn't mean you don't take the threat seriously, but that's a situation you deal with over here. The situation in front of you is two of your star players got into it, one got disciplined. Deal with that one, because now they are going to be melded together, and people are going to act like Alyssa Thomas is not being accountable, and now she's making stuff up about getting death threats. Well, I don't know that to be true, but they've set up the player to get even more guff now. It's like, what are we doing? Thank you. It makes for great sports talk.
But it's a mess.
It is always, or at least consistently, a freaking mess. All right, number 2.
Number 2.
Bronny James yesterday had his 26-27 deal kick in, about $2.5 million. My question is, and I'm not saying this to be mean, when do the Lakers move on from Bronny?
I have no idea.
Do they really view him as an asset who can play in the NBA?
I don't think
above the G League?
And that's really not a big hit, right?
No.
So
that's up to their personnel department. If they think he has some value as a backup point guard or a tiny 2 guard, or maybe they're going to give him one more shot, I don't know. How do they benefit from having Bronny at the Summer League? I don't know if they make money off it. It could help the league, I guess. Yeah. Bronny is a draw, so I'd like him to be here on the Lakers roster. I think he would be on someone's roster because they would look at it that way, but I don't know how much longer Bronny James is going to be around now that LeBron has said, I am out of Lakerville. Number 1.
Number 1.
Boy, I love the baseball season. And I know, man, the next, for people out there who don't like hearing about labor situations, I heard Michelle Smallman, I'm not up in the morning, or I am working, when Smallman and the other guys are on, she was talking about how much she hates the labor talks when the season is so awesome. I love it. I love it. This is Rob Manfred's worst nightmare. The way the league is unfolding this year. It flies in the face of most of their case about, hey, the system isn't working. It's not competitively balanced. Smaller payroll clubs just can't compete. Oh, is that right? On the way back, we'll go through how the small clubs are doing and what the division leaders look like, what the wild card situations look like. Also, the odds around baseball just past the halfway point. World Cup betting updates, and a cool giveaway from William Hill as Ray Kluever is up next on Cofield and Company.
It's Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas and ESPN Reno.
Oh, yeah. The dead period in sports talk radio. And I tell you, every mid-June when someone says that, I'm like, you're morons. There's so much going on. And, some of the new additions to the landscape, especially in Vegas, VGK having the run it had was amazing. And the WNBA is the gift that keeps on giving because they have a megastar who's very polarizing in Caitlin Clark. They have a clunkily run front office. The flow of information from the league is really weird. And I was just making a point during the Big Four that leagues that are growing need sports gambling. While people are bristling at some of the scandals out there, sports gambling legitimizes sports. It also brings a whole different audience in that might not watch at all, which is perfect timing for Ray Kluever, oddsmaker from William Hill, to come in. Because I was just talking about the fact that we didn't know about Asia Wilson being out until this morning. Ray, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, how we doing? Hello, Steve, Alex. Talking about Caitlin Clark, this is very interesting because when she's not in games, the popularity of the betting on that game drops severely. The impact that she's had over the last 3 years, even when she was at Iowa, in the NCAA women's became popular to bet on. People were paying attention. Before that, we had small handle. It was like rugby or something. Yeah. So Caitlin Clark comes in. But I wanted to ask you and Alex something. Do you really believe everybody's talking about how race and the fact that she's straight has something to do with the problem and why they're beating her up? And I look back and I go, even before she played her first game, the jealousy factor was so high, these veterans. And I remember Kelsey Plum talking about, You know, who is this girl? She hasn't done anything. Why is she getting all the hype? Why is she getting all the money? Why is she getting all the advertising? We're going to show her how we play basketball up here. And then in the All-Star game, she showed by covering Caitlin Clark from end line to end line. I don't know. What's you guys feeling? Because I just think it's a jealousy factor. Because the racial thing that I don't understand, because the players are playing with other whites on their same team. I don't see a big contrast there. I don't think race or her sexual preference has anything to do with her.
Yeah.
I'm curious what you two think, though.
So I agree. The race thing, I think, is more of an online deal because everyone coexists in the world of women's college basketball, and it hasn't been a problem. The sexuality thing, I think, is just red meat for sites that, for some reason, are very concerned about who's lesbian, who's not. I don't think that has much to do with, especially the play on the floor. Like, I don't think the lesbians are attacking the straight women. There's been lesbians in the WNBA forever. It hasn't been a problem in the past. Now, your jealousy thing is very much an angle here. And you know what I tie it to? When Tiger Woods came on the scene in golf, and he got a ton of attention, and Fuzzy Zeller was a jackass and put his foot in his mouth. Yep, Fuzzy was an idiot. We don't have a Fuzzy. We don't have a Fuzzy right now, the other way. But there was intense jealousy that Tiger Woods was getting way too much attention, and I compare the two all the time because, listen, the rising tide lifted the boats for everyone, even Fuzzy, and Caitlin Clark is rising the tide for the rest of the WNBA, but there's a lot of people around the league who can't come to grips with it, and the commissioner's office has no idea what to do in dealing with it. None.
I don't know how this Engelbert is still in charge of the WNBA. They need a power-hungry basketball fan who understands the importance of marketing and publicity, positive publicity, to take over the WNBA, and it would be such a better league.
It's going to happen eventually. Because I think Adam Silver and the people in the NBA, and there's a lot of owners who own both NBA and WNBA, they're going to look at this and go, we're not handling this correctly at all. And, I'll go back to one more thing. At the start of this conversation, the handle on games that Caitlin Clark plays in, the WNBA benefit from the handle that Caitlin Clark is in the league. I put out a video the other day after a conversation here on the air, and I said, yes, Caitlin Clark does deserve some special treatment, but I also mentioned that because of ratings, because of gambling handles, she is the most important player. The NBA has had players like that too, Ray. The NBA had players that were treated differently, that were treated with kid gloves. That actually is not that abnormal in the history of the NBA.
It's very common. Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, they called it the Jordan rules. I mean, Are you kidding? Because they made the league what it is, and they knew that if they got hurt or knocked out, it affected the league as a whole. So one more thing on your first 4 at 4. I happened to listen to it today. I'm normally running around or doing something, and I listen. But you talked about the boom of the UFC.
Yep.
And in the early 2000s, when they started booking it and we started taking bets on it, obviously the popularity rose. And I'm curious again on what you guys' take on this is, but I really remember thinking back to what changed in the UFC to make it so popular. And it always points right to Ronda Rousey. I don't know why. Ronda Rousey, when she became undefeated and just kept fighting and kept winning, everybody had interest. She was headlining some fights, and who would have ever thought that females would head a UFC event? And I look back and I'm trying to think of anybody else, maybe McGregor later, some of the gimmick fights. But, I mean, to me, it was Ronda Rousey started everything.
Yeah, she was one of the big steps, no doubt. McGregor was a gigantic step. The fact that they got on real TV when they started doing their reality show, that helped a lot. And they had some, knockout fighters like Chuck Liddell. Those were big stars. They had rivals in pride fighting, so you could cross over once in a while and steal fighters. So there's a lot that goes into the history. But no, there's no doubt Ronda Rousey is a Hall of Famer. Her impact is massive. She was really, really popular, which brings us to the most popular guy in this era. He's the lightning rod, and that is LeBron James. I love this story. I understand why they're parting ways. I don't think there should be bitterness on either side. One, if you guys could book this, would you actually like to be able to book this? And I'm guessing you don't because of gaming. But if you could book player's next location, especially like the biggest names. You don't do it for everyone, but for LeBron, what do you think that market would look like?
We'd love to book it. Are you kidding? We love to book everything. And if you look at our website, you'll see that we like to book everything. And the company likes to book everything. My guess is it'd be Golden State, probably plus $3.
Yeah.
Then it'd be Cleveland plus 10-1.
Yep.
And where I think he's going would be about 15 to 16-1, and that's Miami. And the only reason I think he's going to Miami is because at his age and the amount of money that he wants to make, being in a tax-free area would be a big benefit to him. And I believe that he wants out of California, different than most who believe he wants to stay in California. California taxes are killing him. And he can go to Miami Heat, play with Giannis, play with Adebayo. It sounds to me like, they'd win the big three, but I don't know who they'd have as guards to win in the NBA, but
right.
They'd be a lock to win the big three.
Yeah, funny enough, in faraway places, the offshores, and this is all for craps and giggles because they don't take any real money on it, but we saw opening odds today. One had minus 1,000 on GSW getting them, and another had minus 220 on Golden State getting them, which is, you can't book real bets like that. That's absurd. And I was also saying, please, if you're going to do that, offer the no bet, because I'll be all over both of the no's just because of the value. Like, you have to bet that.
Yeah, they want you to pick one way. I mean, I admit we have some props the same way, but it's basically because we give you a large selection of either teams or like wins that it's almost impossible to put the no side on.
Yeah. Okay, let's deal with reality on some of the squads he could go to. Like you just mentioned a bunch of them. If he did go to Golden State, I think, and Anthony Davis, like, he found his way there too. The Wizards actually cooperated. I still don't know that Golden State, now, because of the money you'd be getting, you'd have to shape the odds that way, but I don't know that Golden State would be any better than still the fifth team in the West.
Yeah, I definitely don't think that would move the needle at all. I mean, I've already seen that, Giannis going to Miami and Morant going up to Portland. Kawhi moved the odds a little bit, but Toronto wasn't near the top anyway. I mean, they're 8-9-1 in the East. So I don't think LeBron going there. He's 41 years old. I mean, Tom Brady played till he was 44, but he had 5 offensive linemen protecting him. Yeah. LeBron won't have that. How many games will he play? What are the odds? This is what I'd like to know. Draymond Green, Steph Curry, Anthony Davis, LeBron James. How many games will all 4 of them
exactly.
play?
That's where the action is.
Under 20?
Yeah, that's where the action is how many games will they play together, and then how many will each play throughout the season in terms of over-under. All right, we got 90 seconds, 2 questions, because we got to set a couple things up here. One, most wins MLB in July. Who won June?
Miami.
Wow.
Miami. The Marlins won it. Needless to say, the books are high-fiving all over the city and country, because I think maybe one person had $1 on the Marlins.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Okay, and college football top season win prediction. What do we got on college football in terms of some special bets?
Well, we got a lot going on with college football. I mean, there really is. You can bet exact wins. We've been taking a lot of action on exact wins. People really feel like they got the season nailed in, but I'm going to throw you out Ray Kluever's top season win total in college football.
Okay.
It is the UCLA Bruins over 5.5, mainly based on their coaching change, because now they truly have a top-performing coach in Bob McChesney, who came from James Madison.
Yeah.
UCLA over 5.5, just lay it. Wait till the end of the season, Cash. Take me out to dinner.
Yep. I like it. Well, I mean, I'm not challenging you on it. Listeners have to take you out to dinner. I'm with you. I think
doesn't matter. Ray Kluever likes free dinners, so I'm trying to get one any way I can.
And you're doing a good job on these on-air spots, so we appreciate it. Hey, Ray, we're up against it. We'll talk to you next week. Very good stuff.
Have a great day.
There he is, Ray Kluever, oddsmaker from William Hill. Make sure you download the William Hill mobile app today. You got summer rewards. You opt in. You get great benefits. It's William Hill Sportsbooks. Good job there by Ray Kluever. Download the app right now. Information and the app at William Hill, U.S.
It's Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas and ESPN Reno.
Baseball's coming up on ESPN Las Vegas at 6 o'clock. We begin coverage of another A's game. We are the A's station here as A's are taking on the Dodgers. We do our A's Spotlight every day at 4:35. Also keeping an eye on the rest of Major League Baseball. Tarek Skubal back in his fourth start since the injury. Has been solid and not spectacular. And just gave up a home run to Ben Rice of the Yankees, but Detroit had a 4 spot. So Detroit out to a 4-1 lead. And Skubal was actually about a plus 115 dog. A lot of A's transactions and moves before yesterday's game and kind of setting up today's games. First of all, a guy that you're familiar with. You got to see him with the Aviators. I didn't think the stint would be this short.
I didn't either, really, because I didn't think there was a spot for him, but I guess with the injury. So you're talking about JKG, Joshua Kuroda-Grauer, sorry. And yeah, we had 3 for 4 yesterday. I was surprised to see him in the lineup against the Dodgers, but there was a nice moment out there, right, where that video was kind of circulating around social media where Freddie Freeman gave him a nice little pat on the back and said good job to him when he reached first. So,
first major league hit, and he gets to go to first base, where the guy who's got the current highest number of hits for his career, Freddie Freeman, sitting there, who's got, I think, above 2,500 hits now for his career. JKG is a cool story. First of all, he was the 75th pick in the 2024 draft. Nick Kurtz, Gage Jump, JKG, Jamie Arnold. Is that the other one of the 4? 4 guys in the top 110. 3 are up. We'll see if JKG can stay up. His numbers in the minors were tremendous.
Yeah, I'm glad that you wrote that too in our rundown. How few strikeouts, right, in the number of at-bats. So I didn't really realize that, but I mean, he gets on base and was batting .323, but then your strikeouts was really good.
Yeah, his OBP at AAA with Vegas was, I think, 405, 339 bats on the season. He's only whiffed 29 times. And AA and AAA, Josh Kuroda-Grauer, 323, 7 homers, 34 ribs, 15 steals. So maybe trends like a guy like Geloff, where Geloff was heading. Be cool to have 2 Zach Geloffs, a healthy Geloff.
Yeah.
Because he was on his way to he's pretty much bounced back. He was
definitely
a utility guy, and dude who can play everywhere. That's what a utility guy is. So good news there. As more of these college guys. He's a Rutgers guy. He went to Franklin High School. He's from Somerset County in New Jersey, so I know they're all fired up. I've seen a lot of social media with his quick rise through the minor leagues from that baseball program. So the news last night, Gage Jump, not so hot. 4 2/3, 5 earned runs, gave up a couple home runs. Today is Robleski and Springs, and Jeff Springs has been leaking oil.
I was really trying to dive into the advanced numbers of these two, though, and it is interesting because Robleski on the year, 2.71 ERA, but his expected ERA is actually a 4.33, and Springs is the opposite, where his ERA is really high, a 5.52, but his expected is also in the 4s, 4.42. So that's kind of saying one's been lucky, one's been unlucky. It is the Dodgers that Springs has to see now, but it's kind of why I said I know the A's bats haven't been as hot, but I do think they could get to Robleski a little bit, and they could hang around in this one tonight. So give me the runs. I mean, the book's already telling you that. It's like 11 and a half.
Before the end of the series, Ohtani's going to pitch tomorrow. I didn't realize this. Ohtani's sitting at home runs for his career, 298 already. So I think he's, 31 years old? So he's 2 away from 300.
When you were talking about Ohtani earlier and people kind of overreacting to him not hitting great and being a pitcher, I am kind of bummed because I thought that's terrible to say. I'm happy that he's doing great at both, but I thought he was going to have a chance to win the NL Cy Young this year. But now he's he's a huge favorite just to win the MVP.
Let's give away some NBA Summer League tickets before we take a break here. A pair of tickets any day of the Summer League. It goes down July 9th to the 19th. UNLVtickets.com is where you can get your tickets, but James has a pair right now. NBA Summer League, 364-1100, caller 7.
It's Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas and ESPN Reno.
Well, Alex, we could launch into 12 minutes of hardcore goalie talk in the NHL. I know you want to do that. There were some moves made today by the Panthers, which means that Sergei Bobrovsky might be available. And you said something that I think was incredibly stupid. I'm going to point that out. I'm kidding. No, you said he might be an expensive get. Will he? He actually did not have a great season. Obviously, his reputation is tremendous. But, yeah, the Panthers reinvented their goalie position. They got Schmid from the Knights yesterday, and a little while ago they got Markstrom from the Devils. So we'll hit that after 5 o'clock. I want to go to Seattle, as we have not talked enough AL West baseball with our rivals in places like L.A. I don't know if anyone talks Angels in L.A., but we go to Seattle. Chuck Powell, a longtime rival of mine. Now that we're an A's station, I really don't like Chuck. I'm serious about this now. Chuck, don't laugh. Don't you laugh.
Oh, I'm not laughing. This is a sinister laugh. It is. I will get my revenge on the A's, if that is your real name.
Yeah. I don't think Seattle cares about the A's. We've talked about this. I think Seattle the A's put up a pretty good showing, but they've got to go out and trade for some pitching. But tell me what's been going on with the M's, because I feel like any week now, 4 of the 5 starting pitchers are going to start kicking booty, and they're going to get out back to a pace to win like 92 games, but that hasn't happened.
Yeah, we've been waiting on it. I've been waiting for it. I mean, on paper, I think this is arguably the best team in the American League, but right now a 500 record. And they've had healthy, good starting pitching to good to great, not quite great, but in that range, good to great. They've had very good bullpen, but they just can't get on that roll. But I think everyone from coast to coast is expecting them to get on. Part of that reason is a guy that hit 60 home runs a season ago is putting up Mitch Garver numbers this year. Cal Raleigh's got a 165-ish batting average, stuck on 8 home runs, missed a month with an injury. And then another part of it is a manager that's really struggling with bullpen decisions right now, even though he goes 4 to 5 deep with quality relievers. We can't seem to get through a series without him running out of relief pitching. So it's been a struggle to try to find that groove. I do suspect that they will. They tend to do that in the Jerry Dipoto era in the months of July and August. I thought this year was going to be different, but it hasn't been. They're just always a cold starter, and we're still waiting on them to heat up, which they typically do as the weather heats up.
How do you explain Wu and Miller, who can be unbelievable, like true, top 10 starters in the AL, but there are times when you're like, what the hell just happened?
Well, Miller's been phenomenal since he's come back. He's the one pitcher that started the season injured, and he's probably been, even though it's a smaller sample size than the others, our best pitcher here in Seattle. So his is just a matter of getting out of this piggyback situation, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with, which he's probably pitched his last piggyback game. And now I think he can get on his roll. As for Wu, I mean, I think it's just mental at this point. He's got a 2.0 ERA at home and a 6.5 ERA on the road. So whatever's happened with Brian Wu, his difficulties, the stuff's fine. He's throwing 97, 98 miles per hour. He's never had a big, giant repertoire of nasty pitches. He's pretty much just a location guy and change of speed guy, and that's worked for him to this stage in his major league career. But this season, he's getting hammered on the road and with home runs. And when there's a little bit of trouble for Brian Wu in a road game, it turns into a huge inning. So I think it's more psychological than anything else. He pitches tonight, and he'll be at home tonight, so I suspect he's going to have a good game. But, yes, he's got a little bit of an issue on the road, a psychological issue. I think George Kirby had a similar thing earlier this year, but he seems to have ironed his problems out. He's now had 4 quality starts in a row, and last night was his best performance of the year. I mean, this team's had a few pitching hiccups this season, but this should not be an area where they worry. They have too many starting pitchers for a 5-man rotation and can't figure out what to do with them. And they've got a guy in Double-A and Cade Anderson who's dominating every single hitter that he's facing and would probably be in any starting rotation in Major League Baseball, but he can't crack this one. So pitching should not be a problem for the Mariners now or for the rest of the year. but it's also contributed to this 500 record. There's no question about it.
Chuck Powell, KJR, does the morning show in Seattle, covers the Mariners, covers the entire Seattle scene. I see a note from yesterday, Justin Hollander opening statement on the online discourse surrounding the team's training staff. What's happening here?
I think that's more social media. Like the Mariners have had some injuries, and so you know he called it the lunatic fringe.
Okay.
Those fans that hate everything that the Mariners do if they don't win that night. I'm sure the same people exist there in Las Vegas as they do everywhere. And so with the injuries mounting, of course, they started on social media and different podcasters in town blaming the training staff not being good enough. And, of course, that's an unfair statement. I'm not saying that couldn't be true, but anybody that's running a podcast or just some fan at home has no idea how to evaluate a training staff in Major League Baseball. So he did bring up talk show hosts. I'm not familiar with any talk show hosts.
Chuck.
Oh, I certainly have it.
Be accountable, Chuck. Be accountable.
Coach for the Yankees, so I'm never going to question training staffs.
Okay.
He brought up the talk show host, but it hasn't happened at KJR, and usually we're the reckless group in town. So I think it was more criticism of social media than anything else, and he frankly shouldn't take that seriously, but he decided he would address it. The training staff is not to blame for the team being 500 right now.
Yeah, my advice to GMs and club personnel generally is to not punch down, and when I say don't punch down, I mean us too. Like don't listen to us. You don't have to freaking flip out and make statements, and certainly don't listen to. They're good content creators, but that's just a waste of your time. You're not going to win that battle. Okay, Chuck is, like me, you're not a massive soccer guy. I don't know that you're a massive hockey guy, but you got to talk about that now in Seattle. Yeah. Seattle is arguably the number one soccer city in this country. If people didn't realize it, they saw it with the World Cup. You were out there a couple of times around the World Cup atmosphere. Can you just describe the setup around the stadiums, the bar district, just how raucous the atmosphere has been?
Well, I'll start this by saying, just to give people a perspective, not only am I not a big soccer fan, I truly despise it. I cannot stand it. And I can't get myself to even get to the point where I can accept it. So that's where I'm coming from. Now, that said, I have spent my World Cup experience being overly positive about accepting the World Cup here and putting on soccer experts. And I'm not providing analysis on my show because that would be a waste of everyone's time. But I did look at it with open arms and open eyes and an open mind as best that I could. Now, let's skip ahead to your question about the atmosphere here. I did experience it when the U.S. played Australia. And I'm telling you what, it was over-the-top phenomenal. Wow. It was great. Like the way that the fan bases from both U.S. and Australia interacted, the mood was nothing but positive. It was amazing. I mean, you hear about hooliganism in soccer worldwide and how rough it can get and crimes are committed in the stands and things of that nature. It couldn't have been more, hey, I love you, man, kind of atmosphere here in Seattle between Aussies and Americans. And then the city came alive. I mean, it had never, in my 11 years here, I've never seen it look better. I've never seen it presented better. The stadium was just gorgeous, the way that they set up the field, and then the atmosphere, the energy that took over this city. Yes, the World Cup, there's certainly a magic about it, and I got to experience that last Friday, and I'll give it all the credit in the world. I mean, I think North America is putting on one hell of a show so far, and I have really enjoyed it to this point in the process, and I suspect it's only going to get bigger. We're hosting another game tomorrow, not the U.S. this time around, but we'll be hosting another match tomorrow, and I suspect that it's going to be spectacular, just as they all have been.
Oddly enough, it took international travelers going to cities like Seattle for us to realize that you don't live in a hellhole.
Yeah, exactly.
Seattle's actually pretty nice.
And that's one of the things that I've talked about. Like, It's very nice to see that people from out of the country, thousands of people from outside the country roll into America and are like, man, this place is awesome. These stadiums are awesome. These bars are awesome. These cities are awesome. We don't live in a hellhole. And it's nice to see America get some positive press from ourselves and also from people coming to visit. And so that I've made that same point, Steve, on my show several times. It's been great. It's been great. And I think for America, for Seattle, for all the cities that are hosting here, for the sport of soccer, for the World Cup, I think it's been a tremendous experience for everybody involved.
No, that said, I'm going to rain on the parade a little bit because from the hockey world, apparently Jason Robertson thinks Seattle sucks. Have you hashed this out? What do you think happened here? Because he was going to make a boatload of money. It's a promising franchise. Is there something wrong with the franchise? What's going on there?
Well, I mean, the way I'm reading it, and who knows? There are a couple of guys. He and Dylan Larkin from the Red Wings. And I don't blame them for this. Like, they've reached free agency, and they're like, well, no, I'd kind of like to, or getting close to free agency, I'd like to kind of choose where I want to live.
Right.
And Larkin's put together a short list, like 3 teams that he will accept a trade to. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, he'll remain with Detroit until free agency. And it sounds like Robertson's done the same thing. He wants to move back to California, it sounds like. And that's what I've heard, is that he turned down a trade to Ottawa as well, that he turned down a possible trade. There was one other team, and he also turned down an extension with Dallas. So he apparently is trying to steer his boat back to California, where he has roots. He and his wife have roots. And so from what I've heard, now it could be spin, I'll admit it, but from what I've heard, that Seattle was one of many that he wasn't interested in playing for. The team is mediocre right now. It is going to need a Jason Robertson type to kind of infuse some energy back into the organization and to propel them a little bit forward. So there are some issues certainly with the Kraken, but I don't think Seattle is taking it all that personally, or shouldn't take it that personally, that Jason Robertson turned down a deal. He just wants to move back to California, from what I understand. This is a first-class operation here in Seattle. I mean, Bobby McMahon re-signed here and could have gone for a lot more money somewhere else. He spent 2 months here doing nothing but lose, and he still decided to re-sign with the Kraken because of the way the organization is run from top to bottom. So they're having a hard time putting a winning product, as you could tell, out on the ice.
Well, we could tell.
But in terms of how they operate the organization, it's pretty first class around here.
Our time is dwindling. I wonder if it makes people in Kraken land, the fans, mad that everyone wants to come to Vegas. How about that? How about that, Chuck? Every player in the NHL wants. They want in here.
Right,
the evil empire. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You guys had the same expansion rules. Get it together in Seattle. All right, Chuck. I just wanted to yell at you going out. Very fine spot. Awesome information.
We got to stir this up now that we're rivals in 2 different sports. I mean, and now we got basketball, so we're certainly going to be a rival in that. So bring it on, Cofield and company.
See you, Chuck.
See you.
Live from the Findlay Toyota Studios, it's Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas.
All right, 2 hours in the book. Alex White is here. Where's the books? We have books. We're tracking baseball. We're headed towards A's baseball at 6 o'clock. Good conversation with a rival in Seattle, Chuck Powell on KJR. Screw the Mariners. Screw the Kraken. Otherwise, I kind of like Seattle. And I'm glad they're getting mega shine out of the World Cup and how good their fans are and how cool that stadium is. I don't want to live in Seattle, nor does Jason Robertson. It's too gloomy and it rains too much.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a bad reputation thing, but I think it's true.
I think so too. I've only been there once, and it was raining the whole time.
Can anyone complain? Yes, we can. And I've already seen it. Can anyone complain about what's going on in Vegas right now with the weather? I feel like it's supposed to be 111. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
My God.
And it's almost July.
I know.
And we haven't really had that triple
Last
digits.
week, someone told me, they were like, I got hot real quick. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm ready for 110.
Woo.
Oh, I love it.
Slow down a little bit.
I love it. There's nothing better than getting in your car, especially if you don't park the car in a garage. And my ride to Lotus Broadcasting is only about 13 minutes. And by the time I get here, I'm like, yeah, the car got sort of cool. And then I look at my back and I'm like, ooh, look at that sweat stain. I love that, baby. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, you lose a little weight, too. You don't need to lose weight. I do. Alex White is here. It's Cofield James in our Findlay Toyota studios. We are tracking baseball. We'll get you baseball scores. A lot of LeBron James stuff going down today. We're going to talk to Grant Mona from Sporting Tribune about LeBron, about the Lakers, about the Clippers. Clippers had a very busy day with Kawhi Leonard. We haven't even gotten to that yet. So LeBron's coming up here in less than 10 minutes. But we got some hockey news in. And we were just talking to Chuck Powell from the Seattle sports radio station, and he sloughed it off. But we know he feels bad about the fact that the Kraken are getting turned down by guys like Jason Robertson. And he made a good point about Robertson being a Southern California guy. Now, that said, I don't think Robertson has turned down the possibility of coming to the Knights. I don't know if the Knights are interested. But it's funny. When you're in a city where a team is rocking and rolling, and in this case is the evil empire of a sport, and almost no one says no to deals and trades, it's a different feeling, isn't it? Like you have an arrogance about you, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely understand why any player would want to come play here.
You're incredibly cocky.
And it's the win now mentality. That's what they're all playing for, right? And want a chance to win. So
there are
and Robinson's really good.
There are win now places like in New England. Not everyone wanted to play for Belichick.
True.
You know, it's a different standard. He's kind of a miserable guy. Some people are like, nah, no thanks. It's funny with the whole Vegas thing. Evil empire. They treat people like crap. Everyone hates them. Yeah, except the players. Except players who have a chance to come here. They generally have said yes. They generally have a gigantic win every offseason. And it has made us, as a sports viewing community of the NHL, incredibly, I was busting your chops. You're not arrogant or cocky. But it's made us very confident. So we have the news that comes down a little while ago. Over the last 24 hours, Akira Schmid, Knights to the Panthers. Markstrom, I'm like pointing at a map. Devils down to the Panthers. So now you got Markstrom, Schmid. That's it for Bobrovsky.
Yeah, I mean his contract was up. He was seeking. It says 6 or 7 years, $42 million, and so he decided not to resign.
And your first thought was Knights. Like, wait, really?
They had a goalie issue. I mean,
be arrogant. Go ahead and do it.
I definitely think he would help that team a lot. And I know he is getting older, and you mentioned that off air, but it's just 1 year removed from him winning back-to-back Stanley Cups with that team because of the roster in front of him, right? Mm-hmm. So he would have that here with Vegas as well.
I have no idea how they feel about Aiden Hill. I think we have a good idea how they felt with, 15, 10, 8 games left. That's why they made the switch to Torts, and then you put Carter Hart in there. I don't know how they feel about Hart, but especially Hill, I don't know. He's got a big deal at $6.5 million a year, so they'd have to move that. Is it arrogant to think that a 37-year-old Bobrovsky, who we think was asking for, 6 or 7 year deal, that's not going to happen. Would he come to the Knights for 2 years? $8 million a year. Would he even consider that? And there's also the Knights side of it. Knights could also point to the fact that Bobrovsky actually had his lowest goals against average, like one of the lowest of his career. So you could argue he's on the downside. Is that the switch you make?
I would think so. And the fact, if they are planning on having Carter Hart for their future, I still think he has a lot of learning to do, even though he's, he played in Philly for some time too, but there are some things I think he could learn behind somebody like Bobrovsky. So if that was the move they wanted to make, plus he had some injuries last year. I don't think he was ever really fully healthy. There was like 2 or 3 different instances, right, where he had to miss a period of time. So I wouldn't hate that at all. It's funny that when you were talking about the team and the players wanting to play here and everybody hating them and then it making Vegas arrogant, it's funny because it kind of perfect opportunity to mention Battle for Vegas that happened over the weekend. And the ironic thing is they're so cool and nice and not arrogant. So, yeah, I guess us fans in sports talk radio, we are, but the players are still great. And it's cool to see that they have such a small, I mean, Riley Smith's event now, I think it was the 7th year, but it is a pretty small, intimate event. And they're great. Signing 1 million autographs. We had to pull them like, okay, the game's back on. But they're just like running around signing. And so that's cool to see too.
Arguably the best one they've done from soup to nuts.
I think last year was pretty awesome.
Why was last year so good?
Honestly, the home run derby, it was very competitive and it was back and forth. And no one expected Brock Bowers to come out the way he did. And it was just like home run after home run. It's funny though, it swings back and forth because it was all Raiders last year and then the Knights won both the home run derby and the game this year. But the weather wasn't great wind-wise, so I don't know. It kind of made it. But there was a ton of scoring when it came to the game, so It was fun.
We are very benevolent. We like to give listeners stuff. We've got our Lotus Summer of Fun. That means every week through the summer we're giving away trips. It's all about 4th of July and our 250th birthday. So we got all these great escapes in the U.S. There's a Hawaii trip, Grand Canyon and Sedona. Philly and Boston went out last week. All you got to do each day is listen for the keyword of the day. The keyword today is white. Like a red, white, and blue theme. White. Text in white. 702-364-1100, 702-364-1100, the word white, and you will be in the running for our Lotus Summer of Fun trip this week, presented by ESPN Las Vegas, Baylaw Injury Attorneys, and Terrible's White is the keyword at 702-364-1100. Man, there's so much to get to today. All right, latest in the WNBA. Now the Players Association is pushing back a little bit on the league over the Caitlin Clark, Alyssa Thomas suspension. Thomas came out today and said, hey, league, you're going to speak on the fact that I'm getting death threats. I think that's a story for tomorrow. There is the ongoing debate about, listen to the way I put this, the debate about what Caitlin Clark is doing to this league. You mean giving it more exposure than it's ever had, a record TV deal. She's part of it. She's not all of it. Times are good for the WNBA. If you look around other sports, controversial figures, controversy, highly debated players. I mean, look at what LeBron James is doing to the NBA. We're going to wind up talking about LeBron James for like 40 minutes today over 3 hours. I hate it. I'm sure Adam Silver's like, damn it. Folks, please, can you spend a little more time talking about the Hawks roster? Right? It's like, which is my favorite thing about WNBA gatekeepers on social media. If you actually watch the sport, you know about this and this. We do. But in all sports, NFL, sorry, but there are certain teams that don't get the attention. And the Dallas Cowboys get way too much. But listeners control things. Social media response controls things. So for you WNBA folks, deal with Caitlin Clark, raising the profile, 5, 10, 15 times over the course of 3 years. There are other great players. We have a great team here in town, defending champs, best player in the league in Asia Wilson. By the way, latest score update on the Commissioner's Cup game without Asia Wilson. Libs are up 45-35. New York on top of Vegas. Minute and 46 left in the second. So what you get with big characters, and Caitlin Clark is a highly debated character, especially on social media, is you get the hot take, hot shots. I admire what he's trying to do here. But you seemed annoyed by Emmanuel Acho and his take that Maybe the WNBA would be better off without Caitlin Clark.
I'm very annoyed.
Why?
It's ridiculous.
Why is it ridiculous?
Maybe she would be better off. Not the other way around. I just think that's crazy. And you just mentioned it, what she's done and the eyes that she's gotten. I mean, so many teams had to move from their normal game facility to the NBA.
Huh?
When the Fever were in town.
Most basic level, the gate went through the roof in a lot of markets because of her.
And then her jersey sales are above. I mean, you can compare them to NBA players, right? So it's just crazy. And I get it. I think it was just kind of a hot take.
I didn't think he laid out a terrible case. Here he is.
The W at this junction in time would be better without Caitlin Clark because she is a bigger distraction than she is an additive. Caitlin Clark has gotten the WNBA over the necessary threshold they needed. Now people are watching. Now we realize, oh, there's talent in the W, talent that's actually even greater than Caitlin Clark. And I'm not just talking about bigs like Asia. I'm talking about the Olivia Miles. I'm talking about the Paige Beckers. Hell, I'm talking about the Kelsey Mitchells.
Why would we stop milking the cash cow? How is a distraction a bad thing for a league? Distraction's a terrible word.
Yeah. I just don't understand. Why does he not think that people are going to stop? Okay, Caitlin Clark got eyes on the WNBA. Now we don't need you. No, are you crazy? If she leaves, people are going to stop watching. And that's the truth. I mean, there are some fans, and the Aces have a great fan base that won't, but there's a lot of people that will. So I think it's crazy.
I would love to see Patrick Mahomes just go away. I've had enough.
You know who I thought of?
I've had enough of him and his wife and the Chiefs and Kelsey and that lady. Distraction!
And you know what?
Leave!
They were a little bit for a while, but
What's a great
got
example?
people talking more and more. Yes,
I'm
about his
tired of seeing
brother.
Taylor Swift. Are you? Did you stop watching? No, you watch more.
Okay.
An annoyance is not really a distraction. Keep going with Acho.
Caitlin got the necessary eyes there. But now that the eyes are there, we don't necessarily need her anymore. Caitlin did what only Caitlin could do, and we don't necessarily need her to do anymore. Thank you, Caitlin. We can take it from here.
Mission accomplished. Let's walk. Alex rarely calls takes or people stupid.
This
You've crossed the line.
Really made me annoyed. It's ridiculous. Okay, so my thought, and I do like your comparison with Tiger Woods, but I was thinking recently with Scotty Scheffler and how he has been number one for the last 2 years.
Who?
Scotty Scheffler in golf.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, outside of golf, no one cares.
True. Well,
His dominance has been impressive. To me, Scotty Scheffler is Roger Federer. Who cares?
Well,
in the sport, people care, but there's no sizzle. The most sizzling thing about Scotty Scheffler was when he pulled a "Do you know who I am?" and got into it with the cops in Louisville,
and then still golf that day.
Right.
Yeah, but I was
now
just
you don't have to
thinking,
do stuff like that to be relevant, but that's great athletes in sports exist in every generation. Then there's the ones who transcend the whole thing.
Yeah.
Sorry to be mean to Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
And golf is doing fine in the ratings.
Yeah.
It's performing okay. I mean, that's the easiest thing is in our world, if you track ratings, TV, and sort of radio, but now social media is a pretty good gauge, we know what hits. I know what hits. I still don't have it mastered, but I can see it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's presentation that holds you back from some engagement and numbers, but most of the time it's certain topics that hit. Keep going, Acho.
Now you're saying that the WNBA needs to be cognizant of where they put Caitlin Clark on posters. The WNBA and the officials need to alter the rules for Caitlin Clark. The WNBA and opposing players need to treat Caitlin Clark more gently. Caitlin Clark's coach needs to be cognizant of how she talks to her in public because it's going to look like there's an issue.
Okay, no one is saying that the players have to treat her more gently. And the coaching of Caitlin Clark. Stephanie White doesn't have to change what she's doing. But what he said in the first of the 3 points, that the league needs to officiate around Caitlin Clark differently, yeah, it does. And I don't know. It's like these young guys like Acho, I don't know where you've been around basketball. Every year it has one or multiple people who have gotten star treatment. That's just a reality. Challenge me on it. That's reality.
Well, didn't we just go through it with SGA? I mean, until people were getting clips and all over the internet about look at this flopping, and it was going on for what?
Yep. Jordan and Bird and Magic, and I bring up the example going way back of Wilt Chamberlain. You can see that officials officiate certain players differently. And if you don't want to believe that sometimes it's a league edict handed down by the commissioner or the bosses, then you're a fool. There is no better example than the NFL.
Yes.
You don't think? I mean, Jesus, blank and blankety blank. Ed Hockley said it to Cam Newton one time. He told Cam Newton, he's like, yeah, you ain't getting officiated. Like Tom Brady. Like, you're not getting that treatment. Tom Brady got Tom Brady treatment. Pat Mahomes gets Pat Mahomes treatment. Look at the history of the NFL recently, especially. You see it. If you want to break Geno Smith's neck, go ahead and do it. Great, hold on. Let me pull the flag. Yeah, no. If you want to caress the helmet of Patrick Mahomes, ow! Oh, my God. The ref is on the ground. He tore his rotator cuff throwing the flag. What just happened there? Yeah, because that's sports. And especially where individuals are so important, players are treated differently. Last one.
Unless we can take off our gloves for Caitlin Clark and stop trying to act like she's a messiah, the WNBA could and would be better off without Caitlin Clark, at least without this version of everybody coddling and caressing and catering to Caitlin Clark.
Good rant. He got it out there. We played it, so congrats. I teased something earlier about my mortality. And when I just threw that fake flag, the people who are watching on video, you can watch us every day on video for a good portion of the show on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. I joked about the official shredding his rotator cuff, throwing flags to benefit Patrick Mahomes. If you look at my right elbow on the inside, no one can see it on the video, but there's a bruise and some puffiness. I didn't get into this yesterday, but maybe I did a little bit. I was trying to get advice. I think during a break, I was stung by a bee. First world problems in the small pool that we have at Casa de Cofield. A bee was residing on a little floaty, and I forgot that the bees are attracted to these colored floaties, and I put my arm right on a bee, and immediately I was like, oh, okay. Stung. I actually was very high pitched, the pain. My arm hurt a little bit that day. It's got a good bruise 2 days later. And I was asking you during a break, have you been stung by a bee? And then what do you do when you're stung by a bee?
So I have been stung by a bee pretty close to that spot, but more on my forearm.
Okay.
And I swelled up pretty good. So I definitely had ice on it to get the swelling down. And I made sure that I had the stinger out. And that's what
Wait, what?
That's what I was asking you.
Wait, huh? Got the stinger out.
Yeah. Or at least
Is it like snake venom? What are you supposed to do?
I don't know. I just got that little piece out of my arm.
Ah, crap.
But you're just like...
I don't think I did. In fact, I know I didn't paw it to take it out, so... What does that mean if it's still in there?
I don't know.
Does
I don't
it live
even
on
know
forever?
if that is like a...
James nods his head. He's like, yes, it lives on forever. Are you sure my body... This is a temple. It's not going to just break it down?
Yeah, I'm sure it will.
When? It's starting to hurt a little more. Are you supposed to take it out?
I don't know if you have to fully. Let's look it up. Let's
Can you do that,
go to
please?
the old Google.
It might still be in there. I don't know. But it's bruised up pretty good. But I'll be okay. Toughen up, Buttercup.
And you just, I think it was last week, you were saying you were going to get that pool. You had to a piece you had to get fixed and
Oh, it was
put
more
some
than a
money
piece.
into it?
Oh, I made a good sized investment, so it's being used now.
So you were out there.
So I'm
going
going
to
to get my ass will get stung left and right. Now, I'm not going to force anyone else in the house to go out there, but there's a lot of gentle nudging. I'm like, hey, how about a night swim? Work day's over. Swim time. Hey, good morning. Get in the pool. Let's do laps. Yeah. Water aerobics today? So I don't know if that was a sign from the higher ups. You know what? You may want to dial it down on the pool aggressiveness. Get rid of those floats. But I love the floats.
And what do you do with bees? Because you need the bees.
Well, we're very benevolent to bees. They fly in the pool all the time, and then I get lectured about, hey, no, don't swat at it. Take it out, gently lay it on the deck, let it fly away. Like, yeah, but I'm gonna die. I'm not going to. I'll be all right. But yeah, text in please if you're supposed to take the stinger out. 702-364-1100.
It just says quickly scrape out the stinger using your fingernail or a credit card.
Can you look up during the break what happens if the stinger stays in for days?
Yes.
It's got to die right away, right? I didn't get a lot of agreement in the room on that one. All right, 364-1100, 364-1100. We'll get back to LeBron and possible landing spots. If you didn't hear it, LeBron told the Lakers, I am going to be leaving. There's nothing to get offended about. I think both sides want this divorce. We got tickets to go see the Aviators coming up on July 9th. Tacoma's in town. Aviators, 4-pack, Ticketmaster.com. You can win 4 right now from James, 364-1100. Caller 7-364-1100.
It's Cofield and Company on ESPN Las Vegas.
Jinxed it. Jinxed it. If you're watching the web stream, it'll be back up in a couple minutes. Went down. James, Internet, 525. It's Cofield and Company. Alex White is here on this Tuesday. Busy day. Busy day in LA basketball. We're going to hook up with Grant Mona here in just a couple minutes. Grant covers a lot of the Clippers, but the Lakers scene. He does Sporting Tribune today. Up on the web and also on our LA station, our Farsi station, Iranian station in Los Angeles. So he's coming up with us here in just a couple minutes. We hit a lot of LeBron in the opening half an hour, and we were going through scenarios. If you didn't see it, LeBron told the Lakers, I'm going to be moving on. We were talking about a lot of scenarios of where he could go, and I don't think we really hashed out. Give me your opinion. What's most important for LeBron James? Is it respect/money or winning a ring? What do you think?
Are those my only options?
That's it. Well, he's got to have a reason behind this. What do you think? It's going to be a blend? I want to make lots of money, and I want to give myself a decent chance at winning a ring, but it's not the most important thing.
Yeah, I don't think money is the most important, right?
I hope it isn't.
Yeah, he's done that.
I say that.
So
I wouldn't be mad.
know.
I wouldn't be mad if that is the most important thing. At 41 years old, with all he's accomplished, you can add to your legacy by going to a team where you can help them win a title. And to me, that would be fun. And
yeah,
I don't even know that I'd be that picky about where I went. And I'm picky, but I haven't made $347 million in the NBA, and I'm not close to a billionaire with all of my other concerns. And then my future where I'm going to make tons of money. My goal would be go to a situation where I blend in, I'm going to be respected, and the team is good now, and I'm going to push them over the top.
Yeah, I think that sounds pretty good. But I also think that he has to factor in his family and his wife and where they want to go, right?
Oh,
that's
an interesting one. Would you? But you don't have kids, and you're not 40-something, so it's different for everybody.
I just think with all the moving around that they have done, I think at this point, or you're thinking it's the last push, so that it doesn't matter after this year, we can decide that?
I think this situation has some similarities to Tom Brady. Like, I think, first of all, Tom Brady quit a year earlier than he wanted to. But there were a lot of people at the time who were like, I can't believe Brady's going to come back. What about his wife and his kids? Well, his wife decided that she was going to hit the bricks anyway, and she was already doinking on the side. So that didn't work out. And I'm not alleging that LeBron's wife is, having an affair. I would think that your family would be pretty understanding and be like, hey, go for it. Whatever you need to do these last couple of years to satiate what you need, because this is it. Like, physically, there's going to be a point where you just can't do it. We can do all that you want, honey, from my age of 44 on. Can I just play basketball for a couple more years while I still can play at a high level? I'm fascinated by this. I think it's one of the great stories. You rarely see it. Well, no, rare is ridiculous. At this age in the NBA, you rarely see it. Let's bring in Grant Mona from the Sporting Tribune. Grant, this is, I think, a great day from a news standpoint in the NBA. Give me your take on the Lakers and LeBron splitting.
First of all, good to hear from all you guys. It's good to be back on the show. I think if I could put it into a title, it would be "It Was Time." Like it was just time for them to make this split. And you can make the case like, oh yeah, well the Lakers are better with LeBron James, which may be true, but every indication that we've seen, especially with the rumors that are going around the Lakers right now in free agency in the offseason, is that they're trying to build around Luka. They're trying to put players that fit Luka Doncic, getting centers for him, being in talks with Walker Kessler and Jalen Duren and Dean Wade and Mamu from Toronto. Like, all those guys fit Luka and Reeves around those two guys. And listen, I think the writing's been on the wall for some time now. It's not to say that the Lakers didn't want LeBron around last year. It's just, when they got Luka Doncic, it signaled a shift in this kind of era. They kind of signaled that, hey, LeBron and AD had run its course, and yeah, LeBron's under contract, but we're not going to extend him. We're not going to give him the $50 million that he wishes or the $30 million that he wishes. He's just at 42. He's not worth that anymore. Now, does that mean he's a bad player? No, but it just seems to me that the Lakers made this decision when they traded for Luka, and that front office, brought in Mark Walter and all those guys from the Dodgers, and they're like, hey, we know what we have. We have a 26-year-old superstar. We just signed Austin Reeves. Let's build around those two guys. And I know that the reporting says that the Lakers wanted LeBron back, but there's a lot of posturing with agents and a lot of posturing through media. So I wouldn't truly believe that. I think Lakers soft pushed him out, and LeBron is just like, all right, you know what? I'll play elsewhere. There's plenty of other good options.
So, Grant, where do you think LeBron ends up? What do you think makes the most sense?
The most sense to me is probably the Cleveland route. Now, we have to understand here, like, if we're talking about sense in terms of winning a championship or getting close enough to winning a championship, it's Cleveland. I think that they have a better team than you would say Golden State. Miami, I just don't see a fit with him and Bam and Giannis, and it kind of gets kind of ugly there. I know that there's history there. I know that they could use a LeBron James, but that fit is just kind of awkward in terms of how they would work basketball-wise. Now, Golden State is very intriguing, but as we all know here, as someone that covers the Clippers, they tried to do this old man route where they got everybody, Bradley Beal, Chris Paul, Brook Lopez, Nico Batum. They put all these old guys together, and that absolutely failed. Now, obviously, LeBron is much better. Steph Curry is still elite. So if you put them on the Golden State Warriors, they will be very good in the regular season. They will be very fun to watch. They'll be box office. They'll be superstars everywhere they go. It'll be one of the best stories in NBA history. But if we're looking at the teams that they will have to beat, San Antonio, OKC, you can even put Denver in there, maybe, Minnesota now with their reload. I just don't see them beating them. So, again, like, it's up to LeBron right now. I don't think it's money. I think it's just, like, where he wants to go.
Right.
Because none of these teams can offer him money. So I think it's just if he's happy or not.
I think it's a dream scenario because I'm not going to get mad at him. I wouldn't get mad at him anyway. I like LeBron James, but he should be ring chasing. It should be for his happiness. He should go to the best situation possible that he likes. My list, I have the Cavs 9th. My list would be, well, the first team I'm looking at, why not go to the Spurs?
Oh, yes. Yes. Now, the Spurs is interesting because the fit in basketball sense makes absolute sense. It is like the perfect fit for a Spurs team that in the finals looked like they had no idea what to do when crunch time came, and they needed a guy like LeBron James to settle things down. And he fills that forward, whether you want to put him in the 3 or the 4 spot, do that stuff. Playing next to Wemby obviously is awesome. And I wouldn't see it, Steve, as like ring chasing. I would just see it as like, it's the best fit for me. Like, it makes the most sense for the Spurs and for me. So I wouldn't like knock LeBron for going to San Antonio. I think it would make the most sense.
My next 2 choices, if you don't want to be in the West, then I'm looking at the Pistons or the Celtics.
Right. I mean, the Pistons, they had their struggles too with a lot of ball handling, kind of creating their own shot. Obviously, LeBron can still do that at his age. You go to the Celtics, and LeBron has said multiple times he hates the Celtics. Like, even when he was on the Lakers, when he was on the Cavs, when he was on the Heat, he hated the Celtics, which is why I didn't have the Clippers in there, because the Clippers actually makes a lot of sense. He would stay in L.A. He gets to play for a semi-competitive team. He gets to keep his house there, his family there, which they probably still will. But it kind of makes sense for the Clippers. But he said multiple times, like, I am never signing with the Clippers. So that's why I kind of just ruled them out, too.
Yeah. Well, the Clippers changed direction today, too. We had the suspicion that they would do so. Let's break down the Kawhi Leonard deal, as Grant Mona's with us from the Sporting Tribune. He covers the L.A. basketball scene, L.A. sports scene, a lot on the Clippers. What do you think of this deal? Let's first address the Kawhi part of it. I find Kawhi to be one of the most mysterious players in the history of all major league sports. What do you think?
I think for both teams, it's a win-win. Now, when it first happened, Kawhi Leonard obviously wants his money. Same thing with James Harden. And the Clippers have made it very clear since they let Paul George walk to Philadelphia, and we're kind of seeing how that's paying off, even though he had a pretty good playoffs with Philadelphia, that they don't want to pay guys in their late 30s anymore to long, big deals, max deals. So, Paul George walked. He got his max deal with Philly. James Harden wanted a big deal. He said, all right, if you're not going to give it to me, trade me to Cleveland. They'll give it to me. They did. Kawhi Leonard, they offered him, I think, two for $80, which is way under what he can get with Toronto, which is 2 for $120 as an extension. And the Clippers said, okay, then we'll find somebody that can give you that contract. And they did in Toronto. Toronto is willing to do that. It'll probably be done at some point here in the offseason to extend him. But the haul that the Clippers got back, we now know the type of draft picks. They got 2 unprotected first-round picks. They got a pick swap next year. They got 2 second-round picks. And sure, like Brandon Ingram and Grady Dick, that's awesome. Like, the players are fine. Brandon Ingram was actually an all-star, but he was injured in the playoffs. So I'm not really focusing on the players because you can always move those guys. The Clippers now have, I think they acquired 5 first-round picks since the beginning of February. They have like 6 second-round picks since the beginning of February. They have I think, $25 million in cap space now with the ability to add more. So they are just in such a much different financial spot and spot for the future, for the next era. And I think that's what this deal is about. Now, Kawhi Leonard is fantastic. Second team All-NBA. Sure, he's 35, but he was unbelievable. I had a first-row seat to it. But the Clippers needed to move on to the next era, and I think that's what they're doing here.
Back to the Lakers with Grant Mona. I saw that Walker Kessler was in L.A., so you mentioned the targets are Kessler and Jalen Duren. First of all, on Kessler, why would the Lakers, or why is he the type of guy they want?
He's just kind of a perfect big for Luka Doncic. He's an awesome rim protector. We talk about centers a lot in the NBA nowadays, and you look at the centers like, he's 6'10", he's 6'11". Well, Walker Kessler's over 7 feet tall. He has shown the ability to, in like the last year that he played, obviously he was out for a lot of the year last year with that shoulder surgery, that he can stretch the floor as well. But he's just a young brute down low that would fit perfectly with Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. And again, like Utah, they have a lot of nice players right now. I've been hearing that they don't want to go over $30 million per year, which opens the door for not just the Lakers, but anybody that's trying to get a very valuable young center with control in this league. So I think, listen, the Lakers need to make a splash move here. They need to stop sitting on their hands, twiddling their thumbs in this Luka Doncic era, and go get a big splash move. I don't care if it's Kessler or Duren or Peyton Watson or maybe somebody else, but they need to do something around Luka Doncic, and I think that Kessler kind of fits the bill of what he's been looking for and what they've been looking for. So I know that they're in negotiations right now. They have very, very high interest, but again, other teams are interested as well.
Grant Mona is with us. Grant, let's close on this because you're a former college baseball player. I know you're a big baseball fan. You follow the Angels. You follow the Dodgers. Kind of an interesting series going down right now with the Dodgers. Last night they smoked Gage Jump and the A's, and Ohtani's going to pitch tomorrow. Dodgers are kind of having that season that they've had the last few years, probably a little ahead of pace of what they were a year ago. And I'm going to go to the same question I've had almost every year. The bullpen has been, well, it's been better than last year. And I guess Diaz is expected back in, mid-July. How are we feeling about the Dodgers, or we really can't tell the story until we get to September and actually see what their health is?
Well, the Dodgers right now are soaring, and it's crazy that they are because, like you just said, a lot of their guys are injured. Blake Snell is still injured. Tyler Glasnow is still injured. Diaz is still injured. Kike Hernandez is still injured. Mookie Betts was in. He's starting to get hot. So they've had so many key pieces injured, but that's the good thing about the Dodgers is that they can just bring someone up from AAA. They can have Alex Call fill in. Kyle Tucker has actually been a disappointment so far this season. This is the guy they signed for $60 million a year, and everyone expected him to be, an all-star, and he's been super disappointed. But he's starting to get it together recently. So, again, like when you have such a collection of Avenger-type players, even if one or two, or maybe even three, honestly, are not doing their job or not living up to expectations, the Dodgers are so good to where they can fill in those spots with an Andy Pages, a Max Muncy, guys like that. Buster Harris came back, and this team is still set. They are fine. I tell people this a lot. Unless they suffer a major injury to one of their core 4 or 5 players, I still see them being perfectly set, even if they go through lapses and lumps now and in July and in August, to where in September, if they're healthy, they're going to be perfectly fine. Like right now, I think they have a 9 or 10 game lead over the Padres. I'm not counting out the Padres, but I'm just saying, like, with how disappointing some of these guys have been and all the injuries, the fact that the Dodgers are 10 games up right now, I mean, it's just a testament to how stacked they are.
On the way out, Grant, tell people about Sporting Trib today and what you guys do from Sunday to Thursday. And I'm telling you, the show is as good as any sports talk show on terrestrial. They do a really good job with the Rush Markazi and Company. What do you guys got coming up?
Yeah, well, I appreciate the kind words. We're live on X every night, Sunday to Thursday. We have an awesome post show as well. We have a bunch of articles coming out about all this free agency stuff, so make sure you guys stay tuned to all of our pages. We're going to have a lot of content coming up about this offseason and obviously the MLB too.
Grant, thank you.
I appreciate it, guys.
There he is, Grant Mona, Sporting Tribune, at Sporting Trib, up on social media. The Dodgers story is interesting, and we're headed towards the A's and the Dodgers here on ESPN Las Vegas in about 15 minutes with coverage beginning again. It's on the LV Sports Network every day, but we rotate stations. But tonight's game, tomorrow's game, is on ESPN Las Vegas. Yeah, I don't know what would derail the Dodgers. Like you said, it would have to be some core injuries. Obviously, if Ohtani went down, that would be a major blow. But it's funny, he mentioned, he's like, a guy like Andy Pages fills in. Like, I think last night, I think they had, did Ohtani have one last night? Yeah, I think between Ohtani and Pages and Muncy, did Muncy hit his 17th and Pages hit his 18th? How crazy is that? That those are support players that you expect to do well. Muncy's even been hurt at times, and they look like they're both on their way to 30 home runs, and Ohtani, pitching as well as he is probably on his way to 35 or 40 home runs again.
Cofield and Company presents Grab Bag on ESPN Las Vegas.
Stick your hand in there, dude.
We're going to have LeBron-mania for at least a couple of days. See this thing stretching out. No more Lakers, 8 years in L.A. He got him a title, a couple of conference finals. He's going to be moving on. With Grant Mona a couple of minutes ago, not weeks ago, a couple of minutes ago, I was listing my ideal franchises. If I were LeBron and money's not a big concern, I want to go win. So this was my list. Spurs 1, Pistons 2, Celtics 3, Nuggets. Now, I would also watch to see what happens with Jamal Murray because I'm not playing with Jamal Murray. So that might disqualify the Nuggets. The Heat 5th, T-Wolves, 6th. Rockets, ahead of both the Heat and the Cavs. I want to win. If I'm LeBron, I want to win. And my last two franchises, because then you could talk about all the franchises that have no shot to win. My last two that I would absolutely say no, won't do it, can't do it, not going to do it, would be the Sixers and the Knicks. Knicks are dead last. I would never, Grant made a good point. When you hate the Celtics, you hate them for life. I would never go play for James Dolan. I would never give him the satisfaction of going and winning him another title up his. And honestly, the Sixers fans are just, they have an inability to be satisfied. I'll put it that way.
Yes.
No matter what I did, short of a title, now I would be the new Joel Embiid.
Yeah.
They would just piss and moan. So, the world is LeBron's oyster.
Well, the best.
And by the way, notice in my top 9, I did not have GSW. I would put them at 10. I don't think even with that collection of players that they can win. And we've got reports coming down that, listen, no one's going to just drop to their knees and service the league or the GSW needs and just trade AD for nothing.
I'm going to pick the one that you have on there twice. That's to live in Miami.
Oh, I did put
the no
Heat
taxes.
Twice. I guess I like them.
Giannis just went there.
Yeah.
You got Bam. There is a lot of upside there.
I got to change that. I had him at number 6 and number 8.
See?
That doesn't work.
You like him a lot.
It's attractive. Yeah. You can. He's not playing the position I want him to play. I want him to play more of a big position. That's why I think the Spurs would be so awesome. He would go. Most of the pressure on Wemby would go bye-bye because now LeBron's there as the villain. And he can teach Wemby, hey, here are the ropes, man. You got to grow up. You got to be consistent. You got to, behave well. Behave's a stupid word, but you get my point. Like during games, and you can be an intimidator and dirty, but after games, you got to man up. You got to woman up. You can't not, show up and speak to the media. You can't be a baby. So I think that would help him a lot. I think it would help the other young guys too. What, Steph Castle and Dylan Harper are finished products? They're not. Yeah. They're 20 and 21 years old. That would be so cool. People would hate the Spurs so much. Wemby's now a villain. You add LeBron to the mix. Come on now.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
And he can do it. Do it. Win rings. And then we can dare to dream. Imagine LeBron goes to the Spurs, evil empire. Everyone hates the Spurs. And then LeBron is like, you know what? Now it's time to be an owner player. Let me do 2 years incredibly at 44 and 45 years old in good old Las Vegas. Right? I hope I'm here to see it. I think this beast thing is taking me down very quickly. I think I'm done. LeBron's going to outlive me. This NBA career is going to outlive me. Damn it. Why didn't I take out the stinger? I blew it. All right, the A's are on the way. Folks, vote for the A's in the All-Star game right now. You can't vote on the starting first baseman for Nick Kurtz. It's Vlad Guerrero.
Yes.
He's got 4 homers and 34 ribbies.
It's him and Ben Rice between those two for the starter. But you can vote for Shea Langoliers for catcher. So let's go. Get in your votes.
And how about that one? How about the Blue Jays? The fans voting.
Your guy.
Alejandro Kirk, 5'8", 272, and that's who Langoliers has to beat out? Vote, 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 vote.